This episode of the Giant Bombcast is brought to you in part by Leesa. Leesa offers two awesome mattresses, the All Foam and the Sapira Hybrid, plus accessories and bases for better, deeper rest. Leesa's also on a mission to provide a better night's sleep for everybody. They've donated more than 32,000 mattresses to date. Don't miss Leesa's President's Day sale. Get 15% off any mattress for a limited time at leesa.com/bombcast and use the promo code BOMBCAST. That's LEESA.com/bombcast, promo code BOMBCAST.
Going to point the gun at the child and demand the candy? Is that the plan?
Yeah, we start there. I mean, then we'll escalate as necessary.
Okay.
Well,
right?
the wet bandits never really got within line of sight of Kevin.
Like, how did they become the sticky bandits if they were so wet all the time?
You can be wet and sticky.
I guess.
Have you ever made bread?
It depends on how, like, if it's like a water-based wet.
Wait, were they just trying to steal
or
candy?
No.
I don't know.
What were they trying to steal?
Yeah, that family probably didn't have like a
know for
ton.
sure.
I mean, they had like 9 kids. You imagine there's not a lot of stuff around the house that's not broken
Right.
that they could steal.
Yeah. I mean, what?
It was more out of principle than anything. He had his eyes on that house, and he really wanted
Yeah.
it. Not necessarily to get anything inside of it. He just wanted to be able to break in.
Well, and it eventually became like, we have to kill this child.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
with a gun.
I mean, if they're just like robbing like houses for the kicks, then I get it totally.
Right.
Then
Eventually
you're just like, okay, finally a challenge. Let's
It
go.
was just about vengeance after a while.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like a gun, I feel like Kevin could prepare for that. I feel like he's got like disarmament tricks and traps ready. I think that
I can't wait.
He's
till
got a
they
TV
add-
show he could play really loud.
Yeah.
Can't wait till they add Kevin McAllister to the next season of Rainbow Six Siege.
yeah, he's
Oh, yeah.
operator. This is just like grown up and gruff. I've killed 48 people trying to rob me.
They just get Macaulay Culkin.
in a pizza band.
It's just going to be hipster Macaulay Culkin
yeah,
on his comeback tour.
Come back.
it's just his tour.
He never left, baby.
Things were maybe a little rocky from Macaulay Culkin for a few years there.
Yeah,
Or just fun.
say-
Yeah. Did you see Party Monster? That was the name of that, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But now he's back.
Now he is back.
In our hearts and minds.
Yeah. Hello.
Hey.
For 8,000 siege credits or whatever.
Playing some of that Siege.
No.
Okay. All right.
I'm boycotting until
Yes,
actually
and
have
I
Macaulay
think it's
Culkin.
very good.
Well, what are you playing?
I'm playing. Yeah, we just
Hey, everyone.
I don't know, man. The
Giant Bombcast.
But the Home Alone material petered out faster than I expected.
Well, I mean, it started with Jason wanting to murder a child with a gun. There's not
wanting to
run
like,
away.
Listen,
Not
if I
wanting
wanted
to,
to murder him, I would
needing
just
to.
murder him. Yeah, I wanted what he had. That's the thing. It's like I don't
You
want
wanted what he had.
If
so
I
you
if I wanted
to murder him.
If I wanted to murder him, I'd just straight up shoot the kid and then take what he. But I don't want to. But I will
Jim,
go
we
there.
can
if
cut the
necessary.
pre-show now, and it's time to get into
right.
the main
3,
podcast.
2,
We got an ad going.
Coming from Black, coming up on the wide, and 5, 4.
Giant Bombcast.
And if you gave me any
Tuesday,
lip,
February the 12th.
Sorry.
Hello, I'm Jeff.
Hi.
Hi.
What is happening, Jeff?
Nothing much. I'm hanging out.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Brad.
Just keeping it chilly?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
what
it's
I've got.
been.
It
yes,
has been cold.
It has been cold.
true.
Now that
There's
you mention it.
If we're looking for,
Below freezing.
3 out of 5 people
Wow.
are wearing hoodies in this room.
I've got a fun Bart story if we're looking for stuff
Awesome.
we usually
Yeah,
talk
from
about.
from the early seasons
This
when it was
morning.
about him, because like when they
My
changed it to be about Homer, like
Once
that's
he
when I
had
got
that
into
cow,
the show,
it was just like,
but I didn't
nothing
watch the
changed.
early seasons because it was such a bad show. But I understand there's some good stuff there, so go ahead.
I sat in piss.
Hell yeah!
Wait, today?
So I was,
Wait, hang on. Wait, answer the question.
I'm getting.
Was it today?
This morning.
Did you know it was there?
I didn't.
Did you make it?
So, a lot of times people will sit on the outside seat of train cars, right? It's like a 2-seater thing, and there will be one person on the outside kind of just like, oh, I don't want to sit on the inside, or I'm going to like oh, I guess I'll move for you,
Right,
that kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah.
I hate
you
when
know?
people do that.
I hate when people do that too, especially because I need the outside. My legs don't fit. Anyways, so there was a pretty crowded car, but there was one seat in the corner right when I walked in, and I pointed at it. Guy had his headphones in. He like kind of wasn't. I was just trying to get my hand. Like I didn't want to touch him.
No, of course
But I'm
not.
just like trying to point in front of him that I wanted to sit, and he's like, and he's mumbled something. He's like, oh, and I was just like, no, dude, just let me sit, dude.
Right, yeah.
And so I sat down and I realized the floor of the train under me. I smelt it before I saw it, but I think he was trying to tell me that ground is covered in piss.
It was just on the ground?
It was just on the ground.
Oh, you didn't sit in
I don't know
it.
if that
feet-
counts as sitting in.
My feet were on it
Okay.
while I was sitting.
Your feet are probably on piss right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, like the entire walk here, you're not stepping in piss ever. It's either piss or shit.
I was going to say it's like public transit 101 to look at the seat before you sit there, but I don't know if that applies to the ground. So
Yeah.
I guess I could see how this might happen.
And I was too I had made such a big deal of wanting to sit
Right,
there
yeah,
that
you're
I
like, well, now
then
I'm
was
here.
just like, okay,
Do you think it was that guy's piss?
no. I hope not.
How
I mean, I don't know if
Do you think it was like a, hey, I pissed here?
No, it seemed very dry.
Okay.
It was like night before piss. that didn't
whatever
get
then.
cleaned.
Whatever.
Was
That
it
was
still
barely
sticky
piss
enough?
anymore.
It was sticky.
I became the sticky bandit.
You became the sticky bandit.
I have seen people sit on actual seats with pee on them before.
Yeah.
And I don't really know what to do in that situation.
You
but
can't
just let
do
it be.
Yeah, you just,
Sorry, you fucked up.
sometimes you really need to sit down.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not even warm anymore.
Get like a spray bottle of that like scent away stuff that,
Yeah.
you know, that you use on carpets when you have cats.
Oh, sure.
Well, I just carry one of those around and
Yeah.
spray it no matter
Just spray it
anytime
on
I
your
sit
ass.
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know what you're sitting in.
Mm-hmm. That's piss over
Oh,
there.
okay.
I did that. That's mine.
You should have
From
said
me.
something.
That's a piss pillow.
I mean, those GameSpot guys, they were using our podcast room, so who knows what happened.
That's true. Anything
Yeah.
could have
Who
gone
let
down
them in
here.
here?
That's true.
Yeah.
Peter Brown said, "Can I come in?" And I was like, "I can't say no to Peter." It's
Did you tell him
Yeah.
explicitly not to piss anywhere?
No,
No.
Okay. There
I
you go.
haven't
Peter
been-
Brown probably just mumbled something like, this is
I
the
haven't
corner.
been told not to piss everywhere. So
Have you ever had some drunk asshole get sick on the bus?
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Like they make
Yes.
everybody get off. Like they stop the bus and they're like,
Yeah.
everybody off. It's like
Well,
a
'cause,
bio,
like,
it's like a
c-
biohazard.
Yeah,
wow.
contagion. They're worried about like
Oh, yeah.
possible
Yeah, I
contagions
guess so.
and the like.
Yeah, that makes
Huh.
sense.
Yeah.
I sat down one time and there was a guy that was pacing back and forth quite angrily, very, very upset. And he was screaming just obscenities and, just kind of like going up to people and just kind of puffing his chest up, feel like he was going to hit someone. And he did that to me. And I just stood there and I looked at him because I knew damn well he wasn't going to fucking hit me. And with me not doing anything, he went and he sat down.
Nice.
And he just mumbled to himself a little
just
bit
gotta-
more. But it's like, what? Are you going to fucking just...
Are you gonna
punch-
fuck with me?
Come on,
I will
man.
shoot a child.
I will
on,
shoot
man,
a
really?
child, man.
We really gonna do this right now?
was he as tall as you?
Yeah, he was pretty
Okay.
tall, but he was just crazy. Fucking weirdos on the bus.
All right. There is your federally mandated period of banter.
Yeah.
Video games.
Yeah.
Apex Legends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's very good.
It's very good.
All right.
No.
All right.
Right,
Let's
next.
check that off. Back to piss.
I
Did anyone else go back and play a little Titanfall? I think Jeff, you
Yeah, a little bit.
No,
just
I-
to see how it kind of stacked up.
It's a lot faster.
It's faster, but like they did a pretty for turning it into a PvP focused thing. I think they did a really good job of like capturing that
Yeah.
locomotion.
Yep.
You know, the like how quickly you can slide and how quickly you can shimmy up a wall and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, like the aspects of like mobility in Apex. I mean, I think they're pretty different from Titanfalls, but like it's the same vibe.
yeah.
For sure. But yeah, running around some of those Titanfall maps, and just jumping wall to wall and all the other stuff is like, oh man, this is so much fun. It's like halfway to Tony Hawk or something. It's just like I just want to do this. I just want to do this.
Yeah, and then I thought about trying to do that in the realm of if I die once, my
Right.
match is over, and I just laughed.
Yeah, I don't think it makes. I think you could bring all those movement options to a battle royale game, but I think they're smart to at least like start where they've started.
Yeah.
If they get there somewhere down the line where it's like on this map everyone's given jump jets and now you can double jump, like then it would make sense. You could do it, but I don't know.
Did you see the director's comments about why they took that stuff out? He said it was basically about like combat legibility. Like it was kind of like one too many variables for people to have to track and try to figure out like where they're getting shot from.
I think that makes sense.
If people can be up on a wall and stuff like that.
Yeah. Especially when you think about like, because some of the stuff in Titanfall, like you could do that, like stick the knife in the wall and just perch yourself up there, which like sounds really fun in a I'm gonna hide in a toilet and shoot somebody battle royale sense. But once it's like you're up in the corner of a room and it's dark and you're just shooting down at people, like there is that element of like, okay, I get it. That tracks.
I'm dying enough without knowing where it came from.
Sure.
to add another layer to that.
But I think like also that's maybe the interesting thing that they've got that I think that other games of that type don't have is there's a potential path there for them to get there. Like as players become more comfortable with the base level movement of Apex, like maybe you get to a point where you're like, okay, map 2 is on the moon, so it's like a slightly lower gravity, or hey, we've given you jump jets, or hey, this is now you can wall run on this map because of magnetic boots or something. But they're like kind of halfway to a game show motif. Maps could bring rules, is what I'm saying.
Or they just legit put an operator, I don't know what they're called, Legends. Heroes,
smooth operator
in with wall running. Like,
I think if you only had one character that could wall run, that might be fucked. Because you have to, if you think about it, you have to redesign. Like the current map in Apex would not lend itself well to wall running.
Yeah,
I mean, there are a couple of areas where you could do it because there's a high enough wall. You want to run on those bones. Yeah, you could. But by and large, there's just maybe not enough opportunities to use a wall run.
Yeah.
So I think you would want to build a map around it. The same way, like, that if you took that map and put Titans in it as we know them from Titanfall 2, it just wouldn't make any sense. The movement of the Titans, like the choke points and all that other stuff, plus the weapons. The minute you add Titans, then you suddenly have to add anti-Titan weapons like they had in Titanfall 2. Or make the Titans way weaker. There's a bunch of different like gameplay things that you'd have to consider at that point. So I feel like that's something we talked about last week, but I feel like in the week of playing it since, like the stuff that is not present makes sense why it's not there.
Yeah.
Totally.
For sure. And yeah, I don't know. I think y'all have been playing way more of it than I have. I've been working on some other stuff.
I have not had a weekend like this since the heyday of DOTA, where it was just like, holy shit, I've been sitting here for 6 hours doing nothing but playing this game. What happened to my Saturday?
Yeah, I've already played more of this than I have any other battle royale. More than any PUBG, more than any Fortnite.
Wow.
I never I liked those games, right, and I kind of got caught up in the zeitgeist more than anything. Just like, oh, everyone's playing it, I'm gonna play it. It's fine. But this, to me, I really appreciate, early on, the kind of hardcore battle royale people, when they got their hands on it, there were some complaints about like time to kill and stuff like that. I, as somebody who is less good at shooting than the PUBG pros, kind of appreciate that I've got a shot in a firefight. Like I found a lot of circumstances where I will be under fire and have enough time to get away. And I can duck behind a wall, a rock, or whatever, and then I have abilities now. And depending on what hero I am, I have an out. Like, I'm not instantly dead. It's not whoever gets the drop on the other person first. And I really appreciate that as somebody who's like trying to learn battle royale games for real for the first time.
Totally.
So we ran that stream yesterday, and it was the first time I played it on PC.
Yeah.
And I just decided, like, I'm going to play this with a controller and see how it goes, because I had heard that it was very playable on PC with a controller, which a lot of shooters are not.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is. It feels like it is slightly less about who outshot who. Like a match of Battlegrounds, that's, hey, line up these sniper shots, calculate bullet drop, in your head, all that other stuff. Like, it's very much like, can you put the reticle here and pull the trigger effectively while also, preventing them from getting close, like all the stuff that, I think Will talked about last week. But at the end of the day, it is who outshot who.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of that game.
Yes. Most firefights are.
Yes. And I feel like here there is that element, but yeah, you're right. Between the character abilities, the time to kill, the healing items at your disposal that you will tend to have by the time you're engaging, unless you're dropping on the loot barge like some kind of knucklehead.
It's irresistible.
It's irresistible. If you like punch fights, then yes, it's irresistible.
Here's the next level shit. You drop where the loot thing is going to drop because you know all the noobs are going to drop on the loot ship and they're going to be fully kitted out, and you just sit there and wait for them to get off that ship.
Yeah.
You murder them, take their shit.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I did that last night with a squad of randos. Actually, some guy hopped in voice chat and was just like, "All right, guys, here we go." And I was just like, "All right, dude, like, go ahead, let's go for it." And sure enough, like they were both way better at shooting than me. But
speaking of which, if you guys are playing with randos, have you been using voice chat or is it?
No, I don't like
bit.
talking to strangers online. I'm actually surprised how many people on PC are using voice chat. Like, I'd say at least half the games, if not more, people are on mics. It's kind of impressive.
Yeah. I like how much you can do without voice chat, but like in a firefight, I will maybe say like, oh, behind that cover, and then ping at the same time. Like
the
a lot of people talk about
really robust.
A lot of people talk about the pinging is good for like just general all-purpose stuff, and it totally is. But pinging in conjunction with voice chat is just like so nice. When we were playing yesterday, I'd be like, they're in this building, and I hit the C button, and it tags the building.
It's the thing I ran into. So I ended up I kept playing after we streamed. I started playing with strangers, and did like significantly better at shooting people. The thing I found is like in the middle of an active firefight where people are running around corners and all that other stuff, like you kind of know where they are, but you need to know where they popping out from, all that other stuff. Like the pinging system isn't really great for that.
Right.
I found.
It'll tell you like they're in this area.
You get it.
They're in this building.
Right.
But are they on the second floor? Are they going? Are they running away? Are they running towards?
In this case, it was a big rock, and it was like they're coming out of both sides of the rock, and you're like, oh well, it's not quite big enough for me to. Or by the time I ping this, they're on the move, and they're somewhere else anyway. And everyone knows we're in a fight. It's just a matter of like, so that's a case where like voice chat, I think, would be like, okay, they're coming out from the right, they're coming out from the left, like kind of more refined updates than just like, yo, here they are.
The biggest problem I'm having with randos is people just either not understanding or refusing to adhere to just like basic teamwork.
Yeah.
Like somebody always peels off when you're dropping and goes on their own and dies instantly, or like you're pinging stuff and they won't pay attention to it.
Or they leave right when they die.
So they quit as soon as they die. They get into firefights without pinging the enemies, so I have no idea what they're doing, or they run way ahead. Like, it's just that some people are all over the place, but...
I think one of the nicest touches in that game is the little muzzle flare on the username on the left side, like where if your teammate is shooting, you can see that they're shooting. Because so often you'll just hear gunshots and not really know, especially if somebody's not communicating what's going on.
There's so much like subtle visual feedback in that game, like the color of the damage numbers showing you what kind of shields they have, and like then they turn white once you've broken the shields, and you get
like a nice little crack sound.
Like I'm getting to the point where I'm like mentally counting damage on people now, and like having a good idea if I should wade in and try to finish them off.
And like I have kind of a very loose knowledge of like certain guns damage types. Like, okay, I know I can get 80 with this shotgun if I like really line it up. I know I can, 3 shots with the Peacemaker if they have light armor. Just like really, I've gotten to the point now where I kind of know the guns. I know what pickups I'm looking for. I know what stocks I'm looking for.
Totally.
It's cool. It's great. It makes looting way faster.
Yeah, like the most exciting thing about the game to me is that my shooting game is getting a lot better, and like big surprise, you do something a lot, you get better at it. But like, I think I was just worried that I was at a point where like mouse-based PC shooters were beyond me.
Oh, like competitive ones.
Yeah. It's like people that have been playing Counter-Strike for 20 years.
Right, yeah.
Are just going to own that space forever. But like my kill counts are just steadily going up.
Yeah.
Like it feels really good. I took down an entire squad with a Peacekeeper last night with both of my teammates down, and that felt fucking amazing. That gun is so good.
Legend were you playing as?
I might have been Wraith in that one. I forget. I didn't use any abilities, though. It was really just a popping out from behind a rock and just landing a bunch of lucky shotgun blasts. I mean, that thing does a lot of damage.
Shotgun's real good in this game?
Yes. Well, that one is.
Peacekeeper
is really good. The other two are not.
Yeah, the auto shotgun and the Mozambique, I think.
Not so great.
I've put in work with that auto shotgun.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Here and there. Not like the Peacekeeper, but
okay.
It's you can do stuff.
The Peacekeeper with the spread mod is also, that thing charges.
Yeah.
If you have the mod on that thing and then aim down sights, like the barrel starts glowing.
You can basically use it as a sniper rifle.
Yeah, there's some weird, cool weapon mods in that game. Like, I hope they get kind of creative with.
It sounds like there's a lot of variation, but even like in the same like weapon type. Like you're talking about different types of shotguns.
Totally.
Some are more effective than others.
Yeah,
Interesting.
like one of the LMGs takes time to spin up. Like it shoots slowly at first and then faster. Like there's a lot of variety there.
Yeah.
You guys have any legends that you're really sticking to?
No, I'm kind of all over the place. I earned enough currency on PC to buy a character, so I got Mirage.
Yeah.
I almost got Caustic, and then everybody said like, it's too situational.
So I got into a game that the best game I had yesterday after we streamed was with someone who was a Caustic and was putting those. It was the first time I'd ever seen the traps put down, all those stuff, and I was like, okay, now that I'm wrapping my mind around like how this guy is using this stuff and how it's actually helping us, it was actually like kind of cool.
Oh yeah, he can be fantastic in very specific situations.
Yeah. Like I was watching a video of Shroud talking about all the classes and like breaking them down. And he was saying like, end game, if you need to hold a point or force somebody out of a point, he's the best hero in the game.
Absolutely.
For 80% of the game, he is kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
And I found that there's a lot of characters like that. And Lifeline to me seems sort of like an opposite that, where early game she's really, really good, but then in a firefight she doesn't offer like the heal bot's nice, but if they're kind of close in on you, you can't really do anything. You can't move while it's active. I got my first win with Gibraltar. I had been complaining to my squad about like, man, I've never gotten any kills with his ult. I've only hurt myself. It kind of sucks. And we got to a circumstance where it was the final circle and there was one other squad and it was in water treatment where they have kind of those shallow ponds, and we were hiding in one and they were in another. And nobody wanted to peek. It was just like a true Mexican standoff kind of circle, getting smaller and smaller. And eventually I was just like, fuck it. Threw down my shield, threw down the airstrike. The airstrike started coming down. I could see it started hitting the enemies because I could see the numbers popping off of them.
Yeah.
Saw where they were, pinged it, and then we all got out and went. And it was great. It was like
cool.
I was just like, okay, it totally does have a use. Like it's not.
Yeah.
They actually tested this game.
I had a match finish in Bunker. It's a tunnel that goes under a mountain basically that kind of winds, and there's like a couple rooms off of the hallway. This actually got streamed because my friend was streaming, but there were 3 squads left, and Bunker was right in the middle of this tiny circle. So we ran in there and hid in those rooms, knowing that squads were on either side of us, watching the circle, and like it just happened that it like started closing. We're like, all right, that's going to force one of them through this tunnel,
right?
Because they have to. And sure enough, here they come down the hall, and we just waste them as soon as they appear. And then the circle stops, like just on the edge of the rooms we were hiding in. Then it was the other squad on the other side of that tunnel with all the room in the world to move, and us stuck in those rooms,
right?
Knowing we had to go out of that tiny hallway. Like we basically had to post up in there and wait for them to come to us, and it turned into this crazy like grenade fight, like bouncing grenades around corners and stuff. Like it was super cool.
So that match when I had that Caustic, we like had a squad trapped in Bunker. And he was like setting stuff down to keep them trapped, and so it was like trapping and then moving forward, like pushing them back a little bit until
totally
we just
like
started fucking them up, and it was it was neat. It had a different feel than most of the other matches.
That's when
that's kind of a cool.
Yeah, that's when the abilities really start mattering when you're in those tight. Spaces.
I gotta say, man, like from the time when you came back to us recording that video and all that other stuff, like I am a little surprised by how much this game has taken off.
Yeah,
like it's fucking like what did they announce yesterday? It was like
2 million concurrent,
25
million total,
25 million unique players.
That's
2 million concurrent.
A lot of fucking people.
Crazy because like Fortnite is like 100.
No, I wanted to say Fortnite was 2 and PUBG was 4 because they roll all the mobile stuff into it. Like,
wait, 400?
Yeah,
we're talking about lifetime players.
Yeah,
wait, well, of course
because they count mobile, which is and
they're big in huge markets like China.
Right, exactly.
It's bajillion players.
Okay. I think the thing that's emerging now, and I guess we should check and see what the updated numbers are, but it sounds like that. Fortnite really big here in the States, and like PUBG is maybe huge around the world.
I was thinking about like Fortnite's like PC client number is 100, right? Because that's where they were getting their Epic Store number install numbers.
Yeah, that might be
okay. Because that's more kind of apples to apples with this game that is only on PC and consoles at this point.
I actually don't remember off the top of my head what the exact numbers are.
Anyway, it went from like 2 million. That's a good start to like, okay, this is a significant percentage of the player bases of these other games now.
Right.
Like this is kind of in the conversation.
Yeah, and I guess that's the thing that is interesting is I thought we were getting to a point where that stuff was starting to feel sewn up.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure on this very podcast, like a month ago, we were like, who would have it? Like, there's no way a third battle royale is ever gonna like take a crack.
Well, that's the thing is I don't know that there will be a long-term third. You know, I could see it getting to the point where there's
off?
No. Well, this
Or
could drop
another
off.
one.
Another one could drop off. Like,
but it's still like.
But also, I think you have to take into account like the worldwide tastes versus domestic, and,
Yeah.
and some of that stuff's gonna be a little different. Like, I'd be curious to see how Apex is doing.
The three of them are so different.
Elsewhere,
I could
Yeah,
I
they
could see
are.
potentially there being
Yeah.
an audience, a steady audience for all three.
yeah.
Like you've got like super realistic military game, you've got weird ass thing with building.
Building and swords, but not swords anymore.
I saw some thing going around about Fortnite on Twitter that is just a game where when you kill somebody, they turn in, or when you shoot somebody, they turn into an 8-story building.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Like it's a fucking bizarre thing. And then you've got like Overwatch Battle Royale,
Right.
basically. Like those are all pretty different concepts.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe there's room for all of them. Like, I'm trying to like apply like I guess some of the MOBA model to it,
sure.
and thinking about it that way. But
Oh.
but I guess there's
But that's
a
the
reason
thing
why
is
I would have
like
to adhere
those
to
two
that.
were the Dota and League were like the two forever. There wasn't like
Right.
a third one that dropped out and was like, hey, I'm the king now.
Well, there was a while there that like people were into Heroes of New
Hots.
Earth, right?
Yeah.
Well, that was kind of because Dota 2 hadn't happened yet.
Okay.
Like
Oh, New Earth. Yeah, I was thinking
New
Heroes
Earth
of
is
the
the
Storm.
game. New Earth is
Yeah.
a game all of my friends who played War 3 Dota played for a long time before
Yeah,
Dota 2
before
came out.
Dota.
And like
Okay,
a bunch of the
I guess
early Dota pros.
I guess
were
I always
on
forget
pros.
that there was a time before Dota 2. It seems eternal.
Me
It was a
too,
while.
Jeff.
Yeah.
It was
Me
a while.
too.
Yeah.
There was that. There was another.
Heroes of the Storm.
I'm talking about before all this. It was Heroes of New Earth, and there was another one. It started with an L.
League of Legends.
League of Legends?
I mean, League came out.
maybe.
League came out in
League was
2009,
pretty early. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's been around for a while.
So maybe that was back in the days when people,
can't-
because I think people kind of clowned on League early on. Didn't
Totally.
they?
Yeah, and I can't think of any others that got big.
Smite.
I was going to say, like,
Smite was like the biggest.
Smite has like a good, solid, steady audience. Although that's also kind of an action game.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see. Well, yeah, I would love to know if, like, I think I was saying this yesterday. It's just like if on any kind of bar chart or graph or anything of active users on Fortnite, if they saw any kind of dip because of Apex, like if there was any notice, did they notice it all from a numbers perspective, or is it just like
If we look only at Twitch, which
yeah,
who knows? But like, it's kind of unreliable. But at the same time, if I'm like 16 and I'm really into Fortnite because my favorite streamers play it,
sure.
and they're suddenly playing this game, I'm gonna check it
You're
out. I'm
absolutely
gonna
gonna
at least
check it out.
check it
It's
out.
free. You're like,
And so
yeah.
I guarantee you there was at least a dip because I was on playing with Will early, and we were doing the same thing. This was like maybe Wednesday after it launched or something, and we hopped on Twitch just to look at the numbers. And for the first time I've ever seen Fortnite was under 100K viewers,
Right.
which is just like that's something you can look at and be like, I've never seen this happen.
Yeah.
So
But I guess how much of that is because the big streamers that kind of made their bones playing Fortnite are maybe being paid to play Apex.
my understanding is they were only paid the first day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they have all just been playing it because it's
Okay.
the hot game since
Yeah.
then.
Like, in that same.
I bet on some level, if I was on that grind, I would fucking love for another good ass game to come along and go, oh God, I can
yes.
stream something else.
That's
oh, God,
exactly what
thank
Stroud was saying. He
fucking
was
God.
like, I've been playing this game for like 10 hours a day just because I like it and it's different.
I just super randomly clicked into Northern Lions stream yesterday or the day before. He was playing something else, and like first thing I saw in chat was like, "Dude, this isn't Apex." Wow, that's what people want to see right now.
Yeah.
Now is not. I guess this is not really indicative because that what's it called? The Twitch Rivals tournament is happening. I think right now as we speak.
Okay. Yeah.
But right now, Fortnite is at 99,000 viewers, and Apex is at 568.
Yeah.
So-
I've seen Apex bouncing between bouncing around 300,000 kind of on
that
average.
seems more like the average actual number, not the like.
I think for me,
tournament number.
Yeah, like it's a fun ass fucking game.
It's just-
man.
yeah.
It's so
It's
goddamn
free.
good.
It's fun. It works well. It plays well. It's not super broken. Like it just hits enough of those things that you want from
and there's just a variety for
yes.
me. It's just the mix of heroes and the fact that they move the hot loot zones around, and like just I've never had a match that's exactly the
It's
same.
so snappy. You can get back into a match like that.
Yeah,
you
the
know?
downtime between matches is like remarkably short.
Yeah. And then like, you know, the story I think over the last like few weeks has really picked up of just like, hey, video game stocks are taking a fucking beating, and like you see a lot of financial analysts going like, Fortnite's fucking everybody. And then, you know, at some point last week, I started seeing some of those reports, and it was just became like analysts.
EA's back, baby.
Yeah, exactly. It was like EA's got a Fortnite.
Honestly, I was out in the lobby.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I saw that picture you tweeted, but I saw like a couple of reports like that of like analysts going like, they got a thing. So I imagine like not only, I mean, I'm sure like the people at Respawn are fucking stoked because their thing is out there and it's fucking good as hell.
Yeah, people like it.
I have to imagine that unless like no one's spending any money on it, which is probably not the case. I'm sure they're probably doing around average conversion or whatever. But I bet that like the people at EA are like, oh, thank fucking God.
And they're especially happy about that
There's
battle pass
something-
coming.
Yeah,
Something
there's
went right.
Something went right for once. Oh my God.
They needed
We
it.
were so smart to buy those guys. Holy shit, you guys.
And this game is like poised to like not do very well. I mean, you know, it's got
That's
the
what I'm
EA
saying. Like,
stigma. It's
yeah,
got the loot box thing.
That's
It's
what coming out of that video
crazy.
is just like, okay, like, you know, it seems like a lot of people are maybe not into the idea of another battle royale game right now, or I think that backlash exists.
Yeah.
in a sense.
A lot of people who like Respawn didn't want to see them make a free to play game.
Or yeah.
They wanted another
people,
Titanfall.
people wanted another Titanfall.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of check marks in the like, oh man, fuck this. I think we saw a lot of that in the wake of the announcement.
Yes, or actually, it was kind of the period where the leaks.
I guess it was. You're right.
When
The
people
leaks
were
were
like
floating around.
Titanfall
Yeah, people
Battle
like, but
Royale
nobody
with
knew
no
what it was.
mechs.
Yeah, when it just became.
I think that's
yeah.
why I was so bullish. Like when we did that video, you said afterwards, like, dude, there's going to be a backlash to this. Like this bullet point by bullet point, this is going to piss people off. I think I was so bullish on the game just because I had spent an afternoon playing it and I knew how much fun it was.
Yeah.
And it seems like once everybody got their hands on it, like all that stuff went away.
Totally.
Like I don't see a single person complaining about Titans at this point. You know, people just seem to be into what's there.
Yeah. And then, well, not to get too deep into news, but like I feel like some of the announcements they made in the wake of this game were weird. Like to have like all those interviews. Let's just get into
talk
it.
about
I guess.
the Titanfall news now since. the Apex news.
It is Titanfall news.
Well, it is actually.
That they basically said, "Hey, there's a Titanfall thing happening this year."
Yeah.
Yeah, hang on, it's loading.
Like
wait,
keyword Titanfall.
Like wait, what? Like a premium Titanfall experience? I think is the language that Andrew Wilson used.
Yeah, this was
in the earnings call, right?
An earnings call that happened 2 days after the launch of Apex, where the CEO of EA, said Respawn also plans to launch a premium game this year that is a new twist on the Titanfall universe.
What does premium game mean? Not phone?
Premium means
not
like
free.
Not free,
like a paid.
Okay.
And then I guess this must have been like right
What
after
does
that Vince
twist
Zampella tweeted out tons of things planned for Apex in the future. We're also committed to listening to player feedback. We are also working on more Titanfall for later in the year. Yes, I said the T word. We love being able to experiment in this crazy universe.
That to me, like, so I guess like the thing we need to get a hold of someone at EA and just to ask them the on the record question of, is that VR game still happening?
Yeah.
Because it makes me wonder if that's what we're talking about here. Because if he's talking about experimenting in this universe, they're not calling it Titanfall 3. They're calling it a premium Titanfall game.
Yes.
a twist on the Titanfall.
Twist on the Titanfall.
Yes. The only two options that make sense to me here are it's the Oculus game, which is a Titanfall game, or
we don't know that, but like maybe if that lines up, maybe that is yes.
Well, based on what I know about like the size of that studio,
right?
It's either that or they have an external developer helping them with something,
right?
Because my impression is that they are not
all hands on deck
are
for
not a
Apex.
3-game studio.
And some of the stories that were coming out of this last week was, hey, Respawn has two teams, the action team and the shooter team, and they've got Star Wars and they've got Apex.
Yes. So they could have like
and they've got an aggressive or somewhat aggressive like update plan scheduled for the rest of the year for Apex.
There are new characters coming next month.
Yeah, so it's not like it's not like they're done and that team gets to move on to something else. Like,
I mean, if anything,
they're living. If anything,
they're probably staffing up the Apex.
They're like, holy shit! Like this is great. We get to
look how many operators are in Siege now versus when it launched. It's like 50 or something now, right?
Yeah.
And they launched with like 12.
What if this game turns into Dota? What if there are like 108 characters?
I
in
mean,
this thing by
honestly,
the
I
end?
wouldn't be surprised if they got up into like, I don't know, 4. I could like their skills are unique enough, but kind of similar enough where I could see a lot because like we already have 2 heroes with an airstrike like thing.
Right.
We're probably gonna get another person who does healing stuff. Like I was talking with somebody about this. I can't remember, but the design space of abilities based on battle royale is relatively unexplored. Like hero shooter abilities, like right away you started thinking, okay, what are the things they're going to add? What are the TF2 classes? What are the Overwatch classes? What are the Siege things? But like Pathfinder's ability to see the next circle.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little things that are just so unique to a battle royale that they can really, I think, do some weird stuff.
You could do a character that like can automatically ping every item in a radius to make early looting easy. Or something,
he finds the nearest legendary item or something.
Sure.
Like there's so much you can do. And what was it? Not Paladins. The Paladins.
The Realm Royale.
Realm Royale. That was the only other battle royale with powers I've seen, but those were all like offensive based or like stealth, kind of generic.
Like the one thing Battle Royale has that those other games you mentioned don't is physical space. Like those games all take place on pretty small maps, lots of corridors and tighter spaces. Like this has just got giant open, look at some of the abilities you could do.
Yeah, and
with
that's
that much space to
and a
work
lot
with.
of these abilities map to first-person shooters, just competitive, like the stuff in Black Ops 4, some of the stuff in Titanfall 2, some of those loadout items, like, you see some of that stuff here, and I think there's still plenty of existing abilities from those games that you could theoretically put into something like this.
Totally.
But yeah, at the same time, like, I don't know, it doesn't seem like it's a Dota-sized number of characters.
No.
It seems more like an Overwatch-sized roster to me.
Yeah. I think somewhere like I could see. No,
yeah, but they give
a couple dozen.
Who knows?
Characters.
If they keep going and keep going and keep going, then maybe they get there. But like, I don't know that I would want to see like a huge number of new characters right off the bat. Like,
this is like over the course of
if it was
the
like
lifetime of the game.
2 or 3. It was like if it ended up being like the equivalent of like 1 a month for a while or something like that.
I could totally see that.
Otherwise, I think if you grow too fast, then people kind of lose it. Like, oh, what does this guy do? What's this new guy do? You kind of need people to have time to get used to this, especially if those characters are going to be paid. So not everyone's going to have immediate access to them. And you need to be able to see them in combat enough to understand their shit.
And then maybe they do stuff like, it would be cool if they eventually get into like free weekend, everyone's playable and stuff like that.
Like a free character of the week or month or whatever. Yeah. There's a lot of shit they can do. There's a lot of shit they can do.
Totally.
Yes. I have just written an email to Respawn's public relations about that Oculus game.
Okay, thank you.
See if we get a response by the end of the show.
Yes, I've been meaning to send that exact email, like for most of the last week, just to find out if that's something that they are still on the record about, or not.
Done. Yeah, is that it for Apex?
Yeah.
The one other thing I meant to mention when you brought up Shroud is, did you see him talking about, like he started talking about some of the specific suggestions he gave them, because he was in there seeing that game like months ago.
No.
The one that really struck me was when he went in to play it months ago, they had random recoil patterns on the guns.
Oh, yeah.
Like you couldn't predict how they would bounce around.
Mm-hmm.
And coming from being a Counter-Strike pro, like that's
yeah.
apparently one of the, I didn't even know that. That's apparently one of the things that makes Counter-Strike what it is the guns all have preset recoil patterns.
Yeah.
So you can 100% learn how they're going to behave, and so they switched over to that model.
I think it's smart.
Yeah, I think that's probably part of the reason I feel like I'm getting so much better at the shooting is you just instinctually start getting the feel for how those things
Yeah, wow, that's
behave.
cool. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
And there's not a ton of recoil on most of those weapons
Yeah, but-
also.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
like the combination makes it, like you can stay on targets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found the weapon lineup kind of off-putting at first, like especially a lot of the names, just like fucking what is the difference between an R301 and a G7 Scout or whatever?
Well,
like
I can tell, that's the Titanfall thing of like a lot of those weapons are in that game, and you kind of know like, okay, here's the difference between an R301 and a Hemlock,
right?
And, that sort of stuff.
It's kind of the Call of Duty problem of just like a lot of these guns are just acronyms or numbers, like that just feels meaningless, but like there's not that many in the game. It's pretty easy to learn the lineup.
Yeah. It would be nice to see like just straight up some numbers on like that skin select screen or something. Just like, hey, this is damage 6, this is fire rate 5. Like some of the stuff they do for Call of Duty.
I got a spreadsheet I can send you.
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like I've seen some of that stuff floating around, but that may just be people like doing
totally.
Yeah, it's data mining.
tests and stuff.
Which you can do with the shooting range.
Yes,
Like,
I was going to say.
Yeah.
I think you can because all the weapons are in there.
That stuff should maybe just be on a screen somewhere, so you
Yeah.
can just kind of read it out.
I agree. I think more visibility, and that especially helps when they like start balancing stuff, and it's like, okay, we reduced this damage from this to this.
Which they definitely, like, over the course of Titanfall 2, they made pretty dramatic gun changes. Like, it was definitely, it was something I didn't necessarily read up on, but just kind of fell into, I guess, on the meta or whatever, to where I was like, oh, it turns out I was using the assault rifle that was maybe a little broken, and then when they they toned it down a little bit, I had a lot less fun with the game. So it's like, it just takes like 1 or 2 more shots to kill.
They also balanced the mechs. I remember they nerfed tone pretty hard.
They made a lot of changes. I mean, they eventually just added like new abilities to, I think, all of them.
Oh, really?
All of the Titans at some point.
It's a good game. Still good.
Still good.
If you like playing Apex and you've never played Titanfall 2, do yourself a favor and get that game because it's like always on sale.
Yeah, totally. Titanfall 2, absolutely worth buying. Still, like, that campaign's really fucking good.
I think it was like $5 the week before Apex came out or something.
Yeah.
Last thing, this was buried in a Twitter thread started by one Michael Pachter about the new Titanfall game they're teasing. Somebody responded to him and said, "That's the VR game," and Vince Zampella responded to that tweet and said, "No."
Okay, all right.
He said, "No!" exclamation mark.
How dare you?
Not the VR game.
Okay,
all right,
great. Good to know.
That doesn't mean the VR game's not still happening.
It's been so long since they've talked about it,
yes,
and it was weird because I was like, they signed this deal to have Oculus publish a game, and then they got bought by EA, and I think at the time it was like, oh, that game's still happening, and Oculus, they'll kind of honor that deal or whatever, but then it kind of hasn't come up.
Yeah, it's been a while,
so I don't really know.
Yeah. Man, there's a ton of games coming out this week.
Yeah,
the free one is the only one I want to play. But have you guys played anything else?
I have, but I can't. It's stuff that's out Friday.
Yes.
So
I'm also playing a free game.
Oh,
yeah, Brad.
Yeah.
Speaking of legends, and
what is it?
I mean, we've evoked the name enough at this point that I can just straight talk about DOTA Auto Chess. God,
like, are you still playing it?
I'm playing it way more than ever.
Oh,
so
man.
to give a little context, we brought it up on the podcast before, but like, and I never really wanted to really get into it because I thought, how long could this last? Like, it seems like a fad. It is a mod within Dota that doesn't play anything like Dota. You have no control. It's more of a strategy game than ever. Brad, you sat down in a quick
Like
look.
the characters all just kind of.
I've picked it up too.
Jan, you
Are
played
you
a couple
playing
rounds.
it? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got me to download Dota
as the name
too.
implies, like the characters all fight automatically. You
Yes.
just kind of decide where to put them.
So what it is it's a and the only reason I'm kind of I should back up a little bit. Yesterday they hit 250,000 concurrent.
Jeez.
They are at almost 4 million installs, and this is like a 4-person team in China that spent a year making this game.
Yeah.
And like it's cool to watch this. Like, it's cool to see Apex. It's like, bam, we hit 2 million in a week and a half, and just like this and this and this. But going on at the same time is this small 4-person team in China with no advertising, no like studio money. They're literally just 4 friends that got together and said, we're gonna do this thing, like we're gonna make this game, and just watching it grow, it's really cool. So what it is it's kind of a drafting based in terms of like a Hearthstone or other card games. You all share a similar pool of heroes. It's 8-player. Asynchronous sort of. You're all kind of playing against each other, but everyone has their own little board. And it's just about kind of rolling units and creating team compositions. So every unit has a class and a race. So it'd be like, if you have 3 orcs, all your units are going to get 25% more power. Or if you have 3 knights, you would get a damage shield and stuff like that. And it's about kind of controlling your econ because you're making money as you play. And the more money you have, the more interest you save.
What's I can't remember how it works. There's some bonus to your income if you either do or don't do a thing. I forget what it is.
There's a win streak and a lose streak
what it is?
bonus, and then you make money based on how much money you already have.
That's what it
So you
was.
can
There's
stack it
an
up.
incentive to not spend because you will get more next
It's like
time.
every
right?
10 gold
Yes.
you have, you earn 1/10 of
Yeah.
that as interest, up to 50 gold. It's like it's complicated when you try and look at it and you don't have any idea what's going on.
It's a lot to take in.
But I know
Sounds like you're
Jan-
describing a mortage at some point.
Yeah,
You're just gonna
honestly,
get rid of it.
like there's all these
APR,
trees and-
they got financing for auto
0%
chess.
down.
It's going to be great.
What's
What's it going to take to get you in this RAM?
What's it gonna take for you to buy 3 dragons, Jan?
At least 5 gold. But yeah, like when I was watching you guys do the quick look, there was just all this text flying around screen.
Yeah.
Like, what am I
yeah.
even
So
watching?
much.
They
what
dialed that back a
information-
little bit.
It looked like
Right.
a Nico stream.
Yeah, yeah.
Totally. Because it used to, like it would scroll across the screen. This player beat this player. This player beat that. They kind of condensed that down to a little feed on the left. It's a lot. It's a lot less off-putting now. But so I went in kind of knowing about Dota, knowing like these heroes are going to be tankier, so I'm going to put these guys on. And a big part of the game is arranging your pieces, kind of ordering them. Like you want a front line of tanky guys, and you want a back line of damage dealers. It's like a very basic way to look at it. And I could look at a hero like Axe. I know Axe is a frontliner. I know Shadow Fiend is a backliner. Jan, I'm curious, like trying to go in without any Dota knowledge.
As someone without any Dota knowledge and not knowing who any of those characters are, I've just been rolling with who looks good together. Like that guy's blue, that fish thing is blue. Let's put them together. All right, they don't work well together. Let's get that green guy. But yeah, as someone without any knowledge of any of that stuff, I've had an okay time kind of just watching other players and like how they're building their chessboards or whatever, and then kind of getting something. I've had a couple good rolls of in the beginning of the matches and stuff, but that losing streak has definitely helped out and getting me to swing from being in very last place to like broaching like the top 3 in a couple games.
Yeah, totally. So the kind of I never played a lot of Hearthstone. I never played a lot of Magic. I don't like a lot of games that are heavily RNG dependent. Because there's no worse feeling in the world to me than just I can't play this game because I'm getting unlucky.
Yeah.
But this game with the loss system, and then I was watching a video of like it was a tutorial of how to play the early game so that you don't like lock yourself into a corner. Between those two combinations, like it really feels like one of the better games that doesn't really shoe you in if you just have completely bad rolls.
And that's been my trouble with like trying to pick up Hearthstone over and over again, is that like my deck will be so far behind everyone else's, but because of like everyone's on a fairly even playing ground, even me like that has no idea what the fuck I'm doing.
I would say every game I'm in, you can like look at people's Steam profiles as you load in. Half the games I'm in, I would say on average, 3 out of the 8 people have never played a game of Dota.
Huh.
Because you can like see their match history and it's just completely
Interesting.
blank.
Huh.
Yeah, and then I'll watch streamers every once in a while, and the chat will be like, "Who's that guy?" and like, "What does that hero do?" Or like the streamer will say something about like the Dota hero because he's a Dota streamer, and chat won't understand it because they're only there for auto chess. And it's all not all, but a large contingent of it is Hearthstone players. A lot of top Hearthstone streamers kind of picked it up because, from what I understand, the meta is kind of in a stale place, and people have been a little unhappy with the balance lately. I saw a post on like the Dota Reddit. It was like, I missed my first card back for Hearthstone. You know how you like if you participate in the event. It's like I've been playing this game since launch, and I missed my first card back because of Dota chess and stuff like that. So it's really cool. And I the last thing I'll say about it is I think it's really they really support it well. There's bug fixes every day. It's a mod within a game, so there's going to be a lot of bugs just because of the way that systems work. And they're
It's
constantly
a small team.
out there.
They're getting, they're doing what they can, I'm sure.
They're constantly out there bug fixing. They're constantly out there doing balance patches. Like once a week, it seems like they do a neat thing where it's like, so every piece is a Dota hero, and then they have stats obviously on everything, and whatever hero has received the least amount of wins, they just get buffed. And it's just like such a simple thing.
Yeah,
like,
I think you said that last time we were talking. Yeah, that's smart.
It's just like little touches like that I really appreciate. And I've seen 2 now screenshots of mobile games like on the Android marketplace called Hero Chess Battle that just look like it.
I was gonna say, do you think the League of Legends of this game type is in development as we speak? Like, it
I'm
probably
curious.
is, right?
Like I bet that they could totally spin this off into like their own game.
Yeah, well,
That's the thing
with
I
four
wonder
people,
is
that's a tall order.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I wonder what happens with this. Does Valve get it? Does someone else get to them and be like, "Hey, we're gonna
Like Tencent or something.
yeah"?
Or
Like,
does
hey,
somebody,
like Bluehole
Yeah.
go like, "Hey, we had success with
Yeah.
you and Brendan, you four and Brendan can hide in a room."
Player Unknown's battle chest.
Well,
Yeah.
like I said, does somebody else just hastily recreate it
Yeah,
and
or-
sand
or
all
that,
the rough
yeah.
edges down? Because like watching that thing, like there are 1,000 ways it needs to like present information better and
Yes.
just be friendlier to people.
Totally.
So like the
broken English tutorial doesn't help either.
But also just like you don't know what any of the heroes do. Like
Yeah.
there just is a lot more information they could expose. So whoever comes along and does all that and makes it look colorful and cartoony is potentially going to make billions of dollars.
Yep. And they have
go.
they have a little marketplace where you can buy your kind of avatar. You buy candies and then those
Right,
raffle
yeah.
out into. So they're making money off of it, which is cool. Like I'm glad they're seeing some sort of compensation for their work.
It just
the
feels like-
artists who designed those couriers aren't necessarily
Yeah.
seeing it because they're pulling in from the marketplace.
It
but
just feels like Valve should jump on this if they haven't already.
totally,
'Cause
especially
otherwise
after, since
someone else
Artifacts
will. Right?
is
yeah,
not
yeah.
really getting any love.
Yeah. They should
But-
just rename Dota Auto Chess to Artifact.
Artifact.
or maybe rename Artifact to
Dota?
Dota.
Yeah,
Dota
that's
Auto Chess.
what-
yeah.
And put it inside Dota.
There you go.
It's really fun. And then so we're gonna do a little stream Thursday morning for it. And if you come on by, send me a DM on the site with your Steam name if you want to play. Up for stakes, you can win a month of premium. We're
Yeah.
gonna play a couple games, and the winners will get a little premium Giant Bomb access. So
You gonna be in the tournament too?
Oh
trying
yeah,
to
you
knock
got to
them down?
beat me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm the gatekeeper there, and you're gonna get to watch me give myself a month of premium if I
Hell
win.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that'll happen.
Oh, let's see. Anything else going on you guys want to talk about?
I got much stuff that I've been playing that I can finally talk about. Like at DMC 5.
Yeah.
We went, or just myself. I went and played it for about 3-4 hours.
Okay.
So, a lot more going on there than there was in the previous two betas, demos that came out
good.
pretty recently. After playing those, like I was a little afraid for the franchise. To be quite honest, I was not feeling it.
Yeah.
Being able to play, all three of the different characters this time around, and getting a better view of, I was able to fight bosses and see all the cutscenes and stuff. So I got a much better view of, how that game is going to play out, and I'm anxiously excited for it now. Just real quick on some of the characters. So you get to play as Nero. You could in the demo as well, but in this build I could also play as Dante and V as well. Dante is super fun. He's got his 4 different styles that you can switch between for combos. But I wanted to talk about V in particular because I was initially put off by that edgelord looking motherfucker.
Doesn't everybody in Devil May Cry a little edgelord?
Yeah,
Not as much as V, man.
V, they finally got it right.
Yeah,
is
I guess
what I'm
so.
You're
hearing.
saying Via's come too.
Yeah, V's come too.
So like, even when he's powering up, he'll start reading edgelord poetry from his book and stuff. It's really ridiculous. But so he's a hands-off character. He can summon so like Nero and Dante, they've got a melee attack and they've got a ranged attack, right? So you've got that equivalent in V. The gun attack is like a bird and it can shoot down projectiles and stuff. And the melee is this shadow cat. That just materializes and you can launch enemies and shit and do air combos. It flows really well.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it's in practice, it's really fucking rad.
Are you just picking a character? How do they, or is it
seems
different
that-
chapters?
Yeah,
or
different
story?
chapters.
I see.
You're presented. You can be that character, and sometimes you'll run concurrently as well. One of the stages I was playing is V, but you can see kind of off in the distance or in the other room. Nero kicking some ass.
Okay.
So shit's going on all at the same time, which is pretty cool. But V can. So he's got those 2 summons. He's got a 3rd summon, which is this big golem looking nightmare. The other interesting thing to note is that he can't. His summons cannot kill anybody. He's got to go up there and do it himself. It's a little strange. So your shadow cat is just beating the shit out of somebody, but in order for that creature to die, you've got to go up there and hit a button prompt, and then you'll actually kill it. That's the only hands-on things that you do.
Is it just
as
an execution move or something?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, essentially. So and he's got ways to teleport directly to them. So it flows really well. He's a really well thought out character, and I didn't think that I'd like him at all. But he fits very, very well, and he plays differently enough. I think everybody plays differently enough, and all pretty fun.
It's just structurally like pretty much Devil May Cry, like just pretty straight ahead, like level-based thing.
Yeah,
like
that's what I was kind of worried about.
Nothing too out of the ordinary.
It's definitely a return to form. In that case, you're going into a walled off, area. You're killing a bunch of enemies. Wall goes away. Go off.
You get a rank and move on. And,
yep.
Yeah.
Keep on. But being able to play 3 different characters this time is gonna. That's what's gonna keep me coming back to.
Because 4 had 2. Like, at 4, it was like you kind of play, but
you can play
was,
Dante in the back half, kind of the.
Didn't they make you? 4, I remember not being super well received, right?
It was fun.
You have to play through the whole thing to get the second character, and then you just play through the whole thing again.
It's more like 2 halves of the same, 2 halves of the story, but it ends up being the same areas. I remember similar areas. I remember like structure. Yeah,
the way that I remember it is, you kind of play through, the first half of the game as Nero, and then you get to a stopping point, and you kind of reverse back through the game as Dante, with a completely different moveset, and it was all right. It
was a neat idea.
Totally, yeah. Dante's super fun in this one too.
Cool.
Oh my god. And of course, God Eater. I've been playing. Just give me a minute, man.
Yeah,
it's 1 minute.
God Eater minute.
I was all ready to get into God Eater, and then some other games showed up, and I ended up getting through that stuff instead.
No, I got you.
But I put a God Eater disc into a PlayStation. Like, I'm gonna.
Holy shit!
I want to see some of that.
I'm excited for you guys to give it a shot.
Yeah.
So it's a very good action RPG. It's got Monster Hunter elements to it.
You described it as like an arcadey Monster Hunter.
Totally.
Which I feel like is the best kind of summation I've heard.
I think that's what got me to try it. Is just like, okay, like I ended up liking Monster Hunter World, but also like kind of maybe a simpler take on it might be fun too. So
it's both simpler and way more complex.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, in ways that you don't need to get wrapped up in. For the most part, it's just like you got a bunch of sockets, you get a bunch of gems. You slot that stuff in there, and you get a bunch of powers. That's pretty cool. 90% of that stuff is just like I don't know, just stat bonuses and whatnot. So you really don't have to worry about that stuff too terribly much. But I beat the game over the weekend, probably about 35 hours or something like that. It's a really like succinct story. Like I'm kind of bummed out that there's not a lot of like loose ends for me to like wrap up after I've beaten that main story. In the previous game, there were lots of side stories, character specific ones. That you could go down those paths and wrap those up, get some bonuses afterwards. But there's not much of that in this one, so that's kind of a bummer.
Eating gods is its own reward.
I think so. But
those previous games also had quite a bit of like story-related DLC, right? I know the first one.
Not so much story-related as it was just like really hard missions for you to go on afterwards.
Okay.
So, and there's slots for that for sure.
What about those like big 8-player?
Yeah, the assault things are pretty cool. They last 5 minutes and you can get some really nice rewards, but it's an 8-player fucking battle against a huge ass origami, the ash origami, and those sons of bitches can actually eat you now. They can do devour attacks and do burst attacks.
Am I a god?
Maybe.
No, you're just in Soviet Russia where God eats you.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense.
But to God, I'm sure my minute's over. But lots of new burst starts. It's really cool. You could only do 1 burst start in the last game. Now you can do 3, whether you're jumping, stepping, or just standing. There's a lot of customization in combat. It's really light on the story. I like all the quality of life changes that they've made.
We need to extend your minute because my minute doesn't count for your minute.
Yes.
I was just gonna say, I've never touched a God Eater. Monster Hunter World was my first Monster Hunters. I'm not really familiar with these kinds of games. I kind of wish the tutorialization was a little better, but like Jason said, you really don't need to master all of the systems in there.
That can be frustrating as well because you're presented with this stuff and they keep kind of pushing you. They keep giving you these things as rewards. It's like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this stuff?
10 hours in, and I was still like, they were like, oh, okay, here's how you make bullets, or like. They
give you the ability that's like, oh, you can craft bullets now.
You can
never mention anything about it ever again.
Jason, walk me through creating a bullet.
So you can have
you get the casing, you get a primer, you put the right amount of gunpowder in.
You don't even know, dude.
10 modules. Okay, so you start with a small, medium, or large. You start with different types of rounds, whether it be a beam or a shotgun blast or slug or whatever. From there, you choose the size. You choose if it's going to be a radial shot, what kind of angle it goes up at.
The what kind of angle it goes at, how severe the angle is. You can wanted weapons of fate at some
it's
crazy
ridiculous.
ass curved
it sounds
bullets.
like Gunvolt. No, what is the
Mighty
Mighty
Gunvolt?
Mighty Gunvolt.
Yeah.
Where you make it-
If that is the
Honestly,
kiddie
like-
version,
Yeah.
this is this is the college course.
It's cool. It's a lot of
Like
fun.
creating I like the combat an awful lot. Here in the end game now, it's starting to get frustrating. It's like the last game, it was more about timing and making sure everybody's in check. You know where everybody is at all times. But in this game, it's a little bit faster, and the enemies are considerably cheaper. So you really got to hang back a little bit, worry more about your spacing and as opposed to just like getting in there and just like countering specific attacks. But that's getting way too deep into it. But all in all, it's a much shorter version of the previous God Eaters, a little bit lighter on the story.
To be
but
clear,
much more customizable combat. It's fun.
To be clear, this is a Monster Hunter, correct?
It's got those trappings. Sure
Well,
does.
I mean,
but
it
it's not
scratches the same itch, is what I mean.
It depends on it has that loop. You go into a specific area, you kill a monster, you take its parts to craft into other things.
Takes a while to kill.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's that for sure.
I'm
But
mostly just like
this
like,
is much faster combat.
Okay.
I mean, it's not as deliberate, nearly as deliberate.
You're
as,
dashing around a lot.
I'm just thinking it seems like so many people got into Monster Hunter for the first time last year. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you came away from that feeling like you were good for a while, maybe it sounds like you.
I think
shouldn't
this is a completely
necessarily-
different experience. It depends on if you're this is a really good like action RPG first and foremost.
You have to
And
be
then there's-
anime tolerant. It's
Yeah.
extremely
Okay,
anime.
now I have gotten the information I need.
There you go.
All right.
Pretty good soundtrack too. That opening.
Yeah.
Does this game have a Witcher in it?
Not yet. no Witcher. In the last game, you could find a capybara and then make a
Okay.
big candy bar
Capybaras are
sword.
fucking cute.
I know what does have a Witcher in it.
Monster.
Did that start?
Yeah, that started.
I've heard-
24.
on my phone.
Look at that.
Pretty good place for a capybara.
Look at that dude.
I've heard good things about that thing.
The Witcher DLC for Monster Hunter?
Yeah, the Witcher
Yeah,
stuff
I
and
played
Monster
it.
Hunter.
So I'm on the PC version now, so
Okay.
like I've got to wait for that stuff to
they're
come over.
still not in.
Yeah, it's
Jeez.
still not in lockstep. And
That's
so,
ridiculous.
yeah,
That is, it's been long enough now where
Yeah.
they should have accelerated
Yeah,
that a bit.
it's so hard to go back to the console versions because of the loading times. It's ridiculous.
Mhm,
But
sure.
yeah, I've heard good stuff about the
But
Witcher
I hear
content as well.
I hear they went to great lengths to recreate a bunch of Witcher stuff in that thing.
Oh, nice.
I'm kind of curious to see what it's like.
Yeah, it sounds like it's more than
Yeah,
just
like
like
I heard-
reuse there and he throws
like
a
multiple
Hadouken.
Yeah,
things
it's
or
not.
something,
It's
yeah.
not just a. Yeah, it's definitely not just a character model. There's a bunch of questy stuff in there.
Neat.
From the sound of it.
But I think I got all the God Eater out of me that
Yeah.
there is.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, those ends are tied up. There's not much else for me to talk about.
Yeah. DLC Springs Eternal, man.
Yeah, I guess. But I was looking forward to more God Eater minutes. But I don't think we're
more
gonna have them.
There's more gods where that came from.
Via
yeah.
con Dios, God Eater Minute.
Yes.
All right. How about we take a break
Okay.
before we talk about more stuff? Let's take a break. All right, Jan, lay it on us.
Oh boy.
All right.
What's up?
Okay.
The Kingdom Hearts 45 seconds.
Oh shit.
That's right. God Eater rates above Kingdom.
Man, fuck. Okay, starting the timer.
No.
Now, Kingdom Hearts 3, I think I mentioned a couple bombcasts ago that I hope that Square picks up on a lot of things on the games they've released in the past couple of years, and they've completely lifted a lot of the stuff in the most notable games that have come out that Square has put out. And when I had said the assumption 2 weeks ago that I think that Kingdom Hearts 3 is basically just Nier Automata, I'm right.
You're right.
I am dead right.
You're 100.
There's the moment in Nier that everyone talks about, like the moment,
Yeah.
is completely present in some type of way in Kingdom Hearts 3. And then
Like not even a nod to it.
Weird.
It's just
it's there.
in it. I saw you do
Weird.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what?
Then why don't I like it?
Well, Jason, you need to finish the pirates first.
I don't think I can.
You don't like the pirate. You don't look like looking for 300 crabs. And
Yo,
then,
I did that already, and then and at that point, I'm like, okay,
Do you
let's
really
wrap
have
up
to
this world, and then they're like,
300
no,
of something in a
Yeah.
video game in 2019.
yeah,
Jesus Christ,
and then
man.
like
then they opened up stuff. They're
they
like,
Wind Wakered you.
They gave me more options for my ship, and I'm like, no, I want to go to Baymax World.
You could leave at any time and go to Baymax World.
No, I can't. I got to finish this first.
You could come back to it afterwards.
What if I don't though?
Well,
Do I have to? Do I have to finish it?
No, you could stop playing Kingdom Hearts anytime you want.
Is
That's kind of where I'm
is
at right
Baymax
now.
You could uninstall it and never
Baymax
think about
too.
it again.
The only thing that was really getting me through a lot of that game was the honeypots.
And I hate to break it to you, Jason, but I was not a fan of the honeypots.
Yo, what's wrong with you? They're homing honeypots.
I finished the game. That's what's wrong with me, Jason.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
How do you feel? How do you feel about it from like a story perspective? Does this feel like, hey, they wrapped it up, or
Will there ever be another Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah, there will.
Yes.
will there be
Yes.
more than final, like a Kingdom Hearts 3 final mix like update? Do you think that that's where it stops, or do you think that's where they tie off the story, leaving them plenty of room to do whatever side shit anytime they want? But does this feel like a conclusion to a trilogy?
No.
I mean, it feels kind of like a nice cap to the story, but there's definitely much room based off how they've handled the series for it to like splinter off and go in several different ways. Because during that near part, I thought I'd seen the guy from Bastion, but it's not him. It was turns out it was one of the protagonists from one of the mobile games.
Sure.
You're
and then
seeing things. Wow.
Yeah, I've seen things. And then I hope that's not too big of a spoiler. But anyway, I saw a lot of friends that I didn't know that played video games, like tweeting and posting that, like, oh, I've waited 13 years for Kingdom Hearts 3, only to think in my head, like, holy crap, there's like 4 or 5 games that have come out, and like they've continued the story throughout those games, even the mobile ones, that they may not understand. But
they're also going to be in for some trouble when they pull out their PS2 from the closet and try and buy it.
But there will definitely be more Kingdom Hearts.
Bummer.
Bold prediction.
Whether it's like a fully numbered game again, or just like a final mix, or like 3.8, 3.5 type scenario.
Can I just ask which near moment we're talking about? Because in my mind there are quite a few moments.
I don't know that we
game.
should get any more into it, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or we have like a 2-minute spoiler zone because
No.
holy shit.
I'm almost
dude.
tempted to have a full spoiler cast.
Yeah. Let's-
All right.
Where I sit all of you down here and then run through my long running list.
Well, in that
Why
case,
do you wanna do
in
that
that case,
to
I
us?
don't know which near moment we're talking about because there are too many in that game that it could be.
That's good. We'll keep it
Yeah.
vague for the podcast, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
after.
All right.
Yes.
That's fine.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
As a game, it's good.
I like the honeypots.
Still don't like how Mickey sounds. I realize that Riku's voiced. Oh, it also blew my mind that you guys, Jeff and Ben, didn't know that Riku was not Riku from Final Fantasy X.
All this time, people have been talking about a Riku. I was like, oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah, Riku from Final Fantasy.
How did they? What?
How did they let that happen?
Yeah, dude, did they run out of names? Like, how is that possible that you already
They
have?
keep reusing
Well,
names.
everyone in Kingdom Hearts is one guy anyway, so like it doesn't ever matter.
We all share a heart.
I can't even tell if you're joking or not.
There's
They're not joking, dude. They're not.
I mean, they renamed Leon and Squall, but they're the same person. But I don't know what Riku. Yeah,
This
I think
one
there's
guy
one
just
K
like he
versus
had
2
one
Ks.
name, and then he was like, he went to another name, and then he's like, no, I don't want that name anymore. Call me this. And then another guy was like,
a Horcruxes.
yo,
Oh, wait,
I'm gonna
is it a
be
different
named that
spelling?
character.
I think isn't Riku in
One K
Final
and
Fantasy
2
X with 2 Ks?
Yes, that is pronounced a little bit differently.
Is it? Okay.
So
Okay. Maybe. Okay.
And Riku in Kingdom Hearts is just
Cuckoo.
one.
that may well be more distinctive in Japanese than it is in English.
Sure.
I was watching you play a little bit of some of the later game stuff and watching like how the combat evolved from seeing it and the early stuff. It
Right.
seemed cool. Like it seemed like that is kind of the biggest gameplay thing I saw is a lot of people were out there on Twitter talking about like, oh, in previous Kingdom Hearts games, like if you wanted to be a magic user, you were kind of crippled for the first 20 hours. But this one seems fairly open to and accommodating to the playstyle you want to have.
Yeah, especially hearing that Jason favors the honeypots, which are more of like range combat.
Listen,
I'm listening.
like if I can, the honeypots are really good. But if I can beat a boss
Yes.
by literally just mashing the X button, the cross button, as it were, not using anything on my left hand, not even to support the controller, it's not even
what are you
necessary.
doing
I
with
can
your
just
left
do
hand?
this. I'm drinking. I'm scratching. Not even looking at the screen,
Great.
and I can beat a boss
Yeah.
because it's just auto targets and it's just I can just do mashy. Why not do that with homing honeypots?
You know what? Winnie the Pooh is one of my favorite Disney characters.
Yo,
Maybe I'll give the Pooh Blade a shot.
give the Pooh Blade a shot. I'm telling you, it
I saw
saved
Pooh
the
Blade on
game.
Bart this morning.
Watch out for that one.
It saved the game for me. It really did. literally.
The Big Hero 6 one's really good too.
So you're
And-
saying
and the
that
Pirates
one.
you click a lot and numbers go up?
You might
Jeff?
be interested in
Maybe
this.
No.
I should get it. No? Okay.
No.
You see a big giant bar go down progressively.
Down? No, not into it.
Okay. All right. Also, the Simba summon breaks the game.
Does it really?
Yes.
It's
the
pretty
best.
good.
Yeah.
I just got Ariel.
Ariel's useless. Stitch is useless.
Jesus.
It's all about Simba.
Jeez.
Is there any Aladdin stuff in this game?
No.
Nothing.
No.
They
thank
knew.
God. They knew.
They knew what was coming.
Oh God.
It's off limits.
But yet it goes back to Olympus and stuff.
Well, Hercules is cool. They have that one song.
Is he?
They have several songs in Hercules, actually.
Yeah, there's multiple songs, and apparently Zero to Hero is not the best song in Hercules. The whole
What?
internet agrees with you that it's
Exactly.
The other
I
one.
won't say I'm in love. Don't ask. No way.
Zero to Hero rules.
Okay, that's it for my Kingdom Hearts 45 seconds. All right.
Cool. Well, I'm going to take an Astroneer 1.0 15 seconds or so to say that Astroneer hit 1.0 after being in early access for
Yay.
like pushing 3 years, I think.
Yeah. Was that a surprise? It was a surprise to me seeing it in the stores. Like, oh wow.
Yeah, I guess they had originally said like December they were going to come
okay.
out, and then it got pushed a little bit. But at its core, it is still a resource. Researching tech, going up a tech tree.
That said, when I watched you play a little bit of it at your desk last week, I was like, "Oh, this looks dramatically like the characters even some of the art even looks a little different."
They added a lot more spacesuits that you can pick
Yeah,
from, and there's a lot
okay.
you can unlock now, and there's like color palettes you can slap on them.
Okay,
So
maybe that's what it is.
it doesn't tell you how to. There's like half the spacesuits are locked at the beginning, but it doesn't tell you how to unlock them. I don't know if that just happens.
Find dead bodies, steal their spacesuits.
I guess the biggest difference is that they have like kind of systematized all the base building and research, like all the stuff you could just like mess around with in the early access versions.
Yeah,
They're like kind of systems tying all that stuff
a
together
tech
now.
tree or tutorial, like on a
Like you
path.
literally have a catalog, and
Yeah.
they call it a catalog in your backpack, and it's just a list of items that you have to like research before you can build.
Okay,
I can't remember if the research stuff was in the early version. I haven't played it in like a year and a half, but like you build a research something that you throw items into,
yeah, okay.
and they
Yeah.
get broken down into bytes, which is the currency you use to
Yeah.
buy designs for new stuff. It makes more sense.
Okay.
But
I feel like last time I tried it, I would try it every 3-4 months, something like that. Oh, right, Astroneer, that's a thing.
Yeah.
And download it over again and start from scratch and play through it. And it always just felt a little aimless.
Yes.
And all of the like placing items in the world or tethering things together, like all of it felt just a little
Yes.
too finicky.
that is still a problem.
Great.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That can be camera and object placement manipulation stuff could be better. There's a tutorial in there now, so it at least kind of introduces you to the basic concepts, but I'd still like 2 hours into it, I kind of hit that feeling of aimlessness of
Yeah.
like, what should I
Like,
do?
what am I? Yeah. What
I
are you
think
actually doing?
People who are way into this type of game are not going to have that problem because
Sure,
they're used to like just okay. I'm just
Find
going to
your
have
own
to
fun and
I'm
make
just going to have
I'm
to
gonna make
poke
everything.
Yeah, I'm going to have to poke at everything in this game until I figure out what I should do next. But for me, coming to this style of game somewhat fresh, I was like, eventually I was like, all right, I'm going to go through every recipe in this backpack until I find a thing that I think I can make.
Yeah.
And like I kind of got there, so now I have a smelting furnace and I can turn zinc into glass.
Hooray.
Whoa.
I think.
You've made it.
I think. There's a lot of stuff in the catalog. They just don't like the items don't have descriptions in the catalog. So
Huh. All right.
if it's a rover, sure, what it's going to be.
Yeah.
If it's, I can't think of any of the ones that are not self-evident, but there are some in there that's like I don't have any idea what that's going to do until I spend most of my currency to buy it.
Yeah.
Some
Right.
of that stuff could be better.
So back it up a little bit for me. This is a kind of exploration,
Yeah.
crafting game.
Totally.
What are the hooks in this that kind of differentiate it from like a Minecraft or a Subnautica?
I don't play enough of those games to really say, but
Terrain
I think
manipulation is a big one.
yeah, it's got a terrain deforming tool, so you can dig way down, or also you can barf the dirt back out and make
Okay.
mountains, or use it.
So
to
it's like
build
more
bridges.
like clay, kind of molding
Yeah,
the earth.
yes.
And
It's a
stuff.
neat look.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's got a almost flat shaded looking ish kind of lots of primary colors and
But
stuff.
some of the tethering, like, you're building these kind of oxygen tethers
Yes.
because it's space. And some of that actually, now that I think about it, I didn't play a ton of Subnautica, but like the kind of like
Yeah.
building that stuff out, the oxygen underwater, like, there's
Has a little
there's
bit of
maybe
that.
something there.
So actually, I guess the coolest thing in the game is that there's just sort of a tactile feel to all the stuff you can manipulate. You've got a backpack with slots on it, and some of the slots are things you can activate. So like, And also, like you said, there's power and oxygen. So, like, I could put or at least this worked in early access, I think. I don't know if it works now, but, like, there are solar cells you can build and attach to your base to power things in your base. But I think you could also slap them on your shoulder.
Okay.
And then you'll power your suit. Because if you're untethered, you don't have oxygen or power.
Right.
So, like, that'll recharge your stuff faster. Like, it'd make a lot more sense when you see it. But everything just, like, sort of explodes out. Like, when you hit the backpack key, the backpack just pops off your back and, like, floats up to the camera very close. And you can physically move stuff around.
That's cool. The UI is neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That stuff. Yeah.
And then that extends out to the base because, like, everything's modular, so you can plop it on the ground wherever you want, and then you just, like, physically use the mouse to, like, grab a power cable from your base and, like, pull it out and attach it on. There's like a...
It sounds sort of like almost like a kind of a God game.
There's a little bit of that
to it.
There's a little bit of that for sure, and there's also just sort of a children's building toy aspect to all the base stuff because you're physically connecting everything up, and it just feels like some kind of like Tinker Toy kind of thing.
Are there enemies?
No, there's like hazards. There are like poisonous plants and stuff like that can fall damage. Like there are things that can kill you, but you just like corpse around your backpack. That's not a huge problem.
So I watched the trailer as I was downloading it, and they had a big focus on like multiplayer, not a multiplayer thing, but you eventually go off world and you hook up with your other dudes, and like a third of that trailer was them just like bopping around and having fun together.
Yeah,
so this game, does it have like a weird dual identity like that? Like, once you go off world, is it
I think I'm
going to change drastically?
Unless I missed something, I think the multiplayer's all opt in.
Okay.
Like you just straight up get a list of servers that are running and just hop on.
Oh, really?
Hop into
Okay.
people's games. I don't think it does any journey type like seamless match you in.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at the achievements, like the planets are all named. Like it sounds like there is a progression of going from planet to planet, and like there's a kind of an ultimate goal. But setting up the base is the real fun stuff in that game because like the research module I've got takes 15 minutes to research a thing right now, but you could plug all kinds of power into it and see the power supply go up more, and then the timer goes way down.
That's cool.
And that can be I've got generators that you dump organic into, like an organic mass basically, like you can break down plants to make fuel for those. I've got a solar cell, I've got a wind turbine, so like sometimes it'll be windy, and then you're getting a lot of power that way. And then, like in the daytime, you're getting solar power. Like it's fun to just juggle all those cables and like fuel your generators and just run a little base. It's
cool.
It's almost a SimCity-ish kind of thing.
Yeah.
We'll do a quick look. I feel like we should sit down and look at how that thing shaped up.
Yeah.
It has been out there for so long. All right, that's all I've got. If you guys are ready to move into news,
Yeah.
All right, news. Let's talk about it. I haven't seen it.
I haven't either.
I haven't read it either.
Good talk.
It's pretty good.
You want to see it?
I understand.
Good.
I
No.
understand.
Oh.
I understand. We all float down here.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
I haven't seen it.
We kind of got through all the Apex and Titanfall stuff already. I think. Have not heard back from Respawn's PR yet about the Oculus thing.
This is going to be no.
Yeah, there's going to be a link to that tweet.
This did not, I don't think, come out of that actual earnings call. I think this came from a statement that was put out alongside the earnings call from EA last week, where the Titanfall stuff came from.
Yeah.
Where they kind of out of nowhere said, "Hey, new Plants vs. Zombies and Need for Speed games are coming in the next year."
Yeah, that makes sense.
By-
this would be the time when they would announce or kind of tip their hand
Yeah, sure.
on earnings.
Yeah. But pretty short order. They're saying by end of fiscal 2019, so that would be by March of next year.
I am honestly surprised that we are getting a Need for Speed that soon.
Yeah.
After the last...
I mean, they were doing them annual
eighth?
for a long time.
This last one,
Yeah,
man.
I thought they would take more time off. When did the last one come out?
Is it
was
one, did they
late.
take 1 year off or was it 2?
I think it was late 17.
Was it 2017 that the last one came out?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no game last year.
And
so-
so it was the year before.
Yeah.
Yes.
God, there have been a lot of Need for Speed games.
Yes.
Not a lot of
Bust
good
out the
ones.
3DO.
Was Payback the last one?
That sounds right.
Yeah, that was 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they would definitely take a longer break on that one just because that series seems kind of rudderless right now.
They just, I don't know what I would even do with that franchise right now, honestly.
They have to go in what they have to commit. They're not committing to they either need to go full Fast and Furious, cars just slamming, because that's how that trailer kind of presented that one as
Right.
it's a lighthearted. We're just a bunch of car criminals doing cool car crime, but it just didn't have
it
the
wasn't
payoff.
that. Yeah.
And the characters were awful.
It was real bad.
Or they need to go back to like, the good Need for Speed game.
Yeah, and like the last good modern Need for Speed games were like kind of either getting closer to that kind of Burnout Paradise style,
Yeah.
or you had Hot Pursuit, where it was not really open world per se, but
Forza
like,
Horizon is
but it
kind of the closest I feel like we have to those kinds of games.
Yeah. But like Hot Pursuit was really about the multiplayer and the abilities and cops versus criminals and the chasers and chasees, and that was really neat. But also, they did that recently enough that I just still don't know that like I would go back to it right now.
Yeah.
All right.
Hot Pursuit was fucking good though.
I know we've made the joke 100 times, but imagine a large open world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Imagine you are there with 99 other drivers.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think I need to say any more.
No, you don't.
Dude, if they just made a modern Burnout Paradise and called it Need for Speed,
Need for Speed Royale.
do
the
it.
thing you run
Need
into
for Speed Paradise.
So I think the problem you run into there is that the Need for Speed franchise. I am under the impression that EA views one of the pillars of this franchise is real cars.
Yeah, like I that concerns me that they think tuning has to be part of this.
Yeah,
because I feel like other games are doing that.
Yeah,
already.
I
at
think
this point.
I think Forza has like found a better way to balance the like, hey, we want to make a fun driving game, open world thing, but still have real cars in it and still have this kind of respect for real cars. Yeah. Like Forza, that's what they're all about. Totally. And Horizon is the fun version of that where they've nailed that stuff. Yeah. So like Need for Speed was always, or like modern Need for Speed, you kind of think of as like, okay, this is the one that gets a little more underground. Like Forza is a little more amusement parkish and lighthearted. And we're just drive around and do this dance before we take it out. And then Need for Speed has been like, all right, we're driving,
yeah.
It's
sometimes
that's
like good and sometimes it's not.
Yeah,
though.
and it
they
was
don't always nail that.
It was good until it wasn't.
Yeah,
like they had a good run on. Well, maybe they didn't even have a good run, but I feel like over the last 10 years of Need for Speed, there are some really high points along the way.
Yeah,
and some pretty low points as well.
Like Hot Pursuit was fantastic. Most Wanted, I think,
Most Wanted was really good.
And then they
kind of
was Rivals right after those.
I think Rivals there was one, and then after that was just Need for Speed.
I think that's right.
And then after that was Payback.
Yes,
but like they eventually started doing this like open world, always connected thing, but with only like 8 cars in the world. You never saw anyone else ever.
Yeah.
And they didn't. There was no reason. They had for 1 year they had an iPhone app where you could like fuck with other people that were on your server, which was just like fucking pain in the ass. It barely ever worked.
Deploy like road traps and stuff like that.
And it was just pointless. The whole thing was just pointless. And they told a lot of bad stories and a lot of it was like bad F&B cutscenes, but not in the way you want.
Yeah.
In Rivals,
was it? I think it was the 2 games ago that they had that terrible like social media influencer story, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think they've got their work cut out for them with a new Need for Speed, because it's a long running brand. Of course, you're going to bring it back. Like you knew it wasn't going to be away forever.
It's got to still be Ghost Games, right?
I would assume so.
I know we haven't heard anything about them not being there anymore. Or
Craig Sullivan left there and went to Amazon, presumably to work on that. Whatever the fuck the Grand Touring game with the TV show.
Oh yeah,
which I finally got a copy of that out of them, and I want to check that out. It's like a $15 thing that is meant to be like, hey, play the TV show, which I'm not into those guys, so maybe that part will be lost on me. But on top of that, I hear it's like a fucking, I'll say for myself, I hear it's fucking bad, just from a like, hey, drive the car standpoint. But I do want to check it out for myself. Yeah, they should make a new Need for Speed, but
I guess
like in terms of like what do I, a person who has played most of those games and have at times been a big fan of them, what do I want out of it? I don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
So
it seems like most people would agree the last 3 of those they've put out have qualified as low points.
Totally.
Yeah.
For the series.
Yep.
So it's oof.
Yeah. I would maybe even at this point, I would probably get out of the open world completely. And just say, here's, kind of back to basics. We want to really get these events right. We really want to, have some really good fun races, control the environment a little bit better, like just get away. Like they haven't used the open world for anything good in a very long time.
I just wonder if like just a really basic straight ahead racer is enough for people at this point.
I don't know. But also like I don't, an open world racer, I don't know that there's like a ton of interest in that right now either. Forza
just make
does
Onrush again, but make it bigger,
sure,
better,
yeah,
more stuff.
Onrush with licensed cars.
Yeah.
Also, I have no idea what a new Plants vs. Zombies would be at this point.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
Guess
I don't know if
Garden
PopCap
Warfare did okay.
Those games are way better than they had any right to be. Those games are really
totally
fun.
Yeah.
Like those are super competent class-based multiplayer shooters. I feel like it has not been that long since I've seen people questioning whether PopCap still exists or not.
Right.
Like, what was the last game they put out?
Was it Garden Warfare 2?
They had
but
another
like,
mobile Plants vs. Zombies.
I don't know if I don't like those. Oh yeah, Plants vs. Zombies Heroes.
Yes.
I always meant to check out. Yes, I know. I mean the Garden Warfare games were like I think only partially PopCap games. I think wasn't like
Active.
Like a
part of
DICE or something.
yeah,
Or like
like
Visceral LA or something like that. Or
former Black Box maybe. Like people
Right,
in Canada
yes.
were other Canadian EA studios were contributing to those games.
But I want to say that
think-
they kind of got absorbed into PopCap when Black Box
Maybe
went
that's
away.
maybe that's
So
what it
it's-
was. But yeah, looking at their webpage, they haven't done a lot. Peggle 2 came out in 2014.
Man, Peggle
Peggle
2 was
2.
it was no Peggle 1.
No.
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah. If Peggle 2 had come out first, and
Yeah,
Peggle 1
right.
had been after that,
Yeah.
I'd have been like, okay.
It's like, okay,
yeah.
you refined it and found what made this good. Peggle 2 is,
To this day, my Xbox like video capture library is full of nothing but Peggle 2 videos
Yep.
because that game captured
auto-captured,
It
right,
auto-captured
yeah.
constantly.
that was a cool idea that it was not a cool idea.
That was a cool idea for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Plants vs.
You're
Zombies.
going to want to share these clips of you earning these Peggle achievements. No, I am not.
Garden Warfare 2, Bejeweled Stars, and PvZ Heroes all came out in 2016, and that was the last thing that PopCap did.
EA.
So
they're
yeah,
it's a good thing Apex happened.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I don't know if that Plants could be in a mobile game.
Sure.
I doubt
That's
it's
my
another.
guess.
I doubt it's another Garden Warfare.
That'd be neat.
Maybe
But,
something totally new. I don't know.
What if it's just the Battlefield 5, the levels, the look, all of it, but
Okay.
all the Plants vs. Zombies characters?
Okay.
Hell yeah.
I'm maining Sunflower.
I would play that.
You would. Sunflower's going to be tried in the hog for its war crimes.
That's right. I don't know. I like the original Plants vs. Zombies games. I would play another one of those. Anyway, yeah. I guess that stuff will probably get announced at E3.
What if Plants vs. Zombies auto chess?
Oh, hell yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, actually,
Yeah, it's kind of, I mean,
I can see it.
like, vegetable synergy gives you 25% damage reduction.
there you go.
You could make a novelty chess set out of Plants vs. Zombies.
Mhm.
Probably have, yeah.
So I guess this had started happening or going around before the conversation we had last week about new consoles and backwards compatibility and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I think you kind of referenced it a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, there's like multiple layers of translation going on here from a patent filed in Japan. It's kind of a lot to talk about, but Sony has filed a patent in Japan pertaining to backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
It's presumably some kind of like new technique
Mm-hmm.
authored by Mark Cerny.
Yeah. Which, hey, that
yeah.
guy, he knows some stuff.
Yes. If I understand correctly, the Japanese patent was translated by a Spanish news site, and then the Spanish article was translated in English.
Hell yeah.
So,
Mark Cerny will do anything to get you to be able to play Knack again
That's right.
on future consoles.
so like the language has just been mutated so much.
Crash
that
bash all the way down.
I don't know how much we can get out of this at this point, but it definitely is implying that it's a fairly innovative technique for, again,
But a software-based technique
I
as
think,
opposed to like
I think that's
hardware.
right.
Okay.
Again, this is
Well, I think the interesting part is, there's a nitty gritty to it that we're probably losing in the double translation.
yeah.
But the idea that they are out there, this stuff is related to backwards compatibility one way or the other.
It definitely
and,
seems to be.
and that's the The interesting part is, I think we've said all along, like, oh, hey, it'd be nice if they got it to run PS4 games, but also, you hear like, oh, the legacy of the PlayStation, all that other stuff. How much do they really care about it? How much does Jim Ryan care about it? It's an interesting one. But they're potentially poised to, like, if this patent ends up holding up, like there's every possibility that the next PlayStation plays all PlayStation games.
Like, I can imagine that thing comes out and they're just like, hey, any PlayStation game you have ever bought, you can just put in this thing and it works.
Yeah, boy.
Like,
Well, they wouldn't be able to say that because some servers are down, and
Well, you know what I mean. Though.
Yeah,
like,
but yes.
Network features notwithstanding, like discs will run
MAG.
your PS3.
We're
purchases.
turning the MAG servers back on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the original Battle Royale.
Hell yeah.
Like they will run in the same state they would run in on the original hardware.
Yeah.
But like, dude, I mean, PS3 is what it is. But like, think about the libraries on the PS1 and the PS2.
Right.
Like, holy shit, man.
Yep.
You're only gonna get to play the EU versions.
Yeah.
Fuck. Got to buy some new discs, I guess.
There are just so many huge, momentous games on those consoles.
Seems like we're in the thick of it in terms of console stuff. Like we're starting to get real.
Yeah,
juicy
GDC's coming up,
nuggets.
so we're at a point now that you're probably going to start hearing at least a little bit more.
PlayStation.
Yeah, it'll
6.
be. Oh shit!
I talked to
6.
I talked to Will a little bit more about this after he left last week, and he said his understanding is that it's pretty tough to get a software patent in Japan unless you're doing something like really significantly new.
Yeah,
Like you're not going to like iterate on existing ideas and be awarded a patent for something like that. So potentially this is a somewhat big deal.
Yeah, I mean, if that means they found a different way around it than a lot of the kind of open source emulation that's happened on PC, for PlayStation 1, 2, and 3, and PSP, and if they've come to a different way to go about doing it, like that's fascinating.
Yeah, potentially very exciting for a thing that Jim Ryan says nobody wants.
That's right.
New head,
And he's the boss.
new president and CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, Jim Ryan, star of the most famous crash zoom
in gaming history.
in the history of video game presentations, has been. This is a weird thing because John Codera was previously the head of SIE.
Right.
Now Jim Ryan is. Now Codera is the deputy president.
Okay.
Like, is that some kind of like
Swapsies.
He's the president, but he wears a cowboy.
sounds
You
like
do it for 6 months and you tell me how easy it
I
is,
guess.
Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just turn on cross-platform. Yeah, we'll just do it.
Yeah.
Here, you do it.
I don't know what that means for Codera. Is that some kind of lateral demotion or something?
I don't know.
It's a weird thing.
And
Anyway,
so as deputy president, is he like assigned to a specific?
yes, they are pitching as him taking over PSN development
Okay.
specifically.
I might
the way
say,
they phrase it, it doesn't sound like a demotion at all because, like, they're basically saying like, "Hey, we have 90 million people using PlayStation Network now. Like, we gotta do something with that."
yeah, they can definitely spin that as like, hey, this is us putting an even more increased focus on the services business that is mattering more and more as time goes on.
Yep.
If you look at it, like, we still don't really know what Sony's plan is for services going forward. I think we're starting to see more of what Microsoft is planning because it's around this, xCloud, around the streaming stuff. It's around all that. That stuff's going to happen. There's going to be more players in that space.
And getting the Xbox like social layer on every device they possibly can.
Yeah. So if that's going to be the emerging battleground, then yes, services are everything. Like the box is important, but like you have to figure that a lot of the PlayStation 5 decisions are already made on the hardware end.
Yeah.
And so it becomes about like, okay, well, what can we actually do with it on the software side and services side?
Right.
And
What do we do for year 2 and 3 and 4?
Yeah. Or, hey, it's about more than just like, hey, what's your friends list and mobile app strategy? It's about like, okay, what
retention.
what can we do with this Gaikai tech we bought? PlayStation Now has existed for a long time. Like they were.
What other services can we offer for $1 a month for the first month and then get more money?
And enhancing those services to be better is something that is going to matter more and more over the next.
If it cycles into this backwards compatibility stuff, that's just another layer on it of like, maybe
potentially. Yeah.
part of a service package or something.
So like that is one of the most important divisions of that business right now for gaming, is that PSN layer. So, it ain't some shit low tier position, that's for sure.
The head of all of Sony, like the actual CEO of Sony, the corporation, gave an interview to the New York Times last month, where he described PSN as a strong entertainment platform, very suitable for video and music content. So, I don't know.
Sony Music is like one of their biggest money makers.
But I hope they have bigger ideas than just like, hey, let's sell other types of media to people on the game service.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
they've been doing that for a while.
But also maybe they end up doing some all-inclusive, like launch their own Spotify type service instead of having Spotify integration. And maybe they launch their own Netflix to go with it.
Yeah, Sony's got their fingers in other media so much that they maybe some kind of like package subscription of like, here's PlayStation Now and movies and music.
And PlayStation View,
and and TV, sure, I could see it.
I feel like there's a kind of we'd have to dig into the archives, but I feel like there's at least more than a few cases of Jim Ryan saying stuff that you just look at and go, man, what?
Yeah.
So he
was the one. Seeing this promotion, I went out there and looked around a little bit. Yeah, he was the one that said he saw PS1 and 2 versions of Gran Turismo running an event and said, like, they look terrible. Who would want to play that?
Yeah.
And I think some messaging around crossplay. Wasn't he the one that said at E3 a couple E3s ago that, like, they don't allow Minecraft crossplay because they have to protect children?
I think he was the one that they sent out to, like, take the bullet for that stuff. Yeah. And then you have that, and then there was the other. It was the comments from Sean Layden recently. There's a Reset Era thread that was highlighting this stuff.
Some interview he gave about.
I think it was to Game Informer, if I remember right. But it was him basically saying like, "Oh yeah, we're open for business for crossplay. Yeah, developers need to talk to their account reps. I don't know. I don't know what they're saying. We're doing it.
We got Fortnite and Rocket League. It's
like meanwhile, for both games, they talk about it as a beta.
I think the phrase he used was "we're open for business" or something along those lines.
And then the head of Chucklefish, from Wargroove said like, "Oh, we asked our account rep. They said no.
They said like we literally have a switch we could switch on, and we can't."
I didn't realize the game had crossplay, but apparently,
between everything
they launched with.
Well, look for Wargroove to suddenly get crossplay on PlayStation now that they're out there talking about it publicly.
I don't know that it came out on. Did it come out on PS4 yet?
Oh, that's a good question.
It was pushed back on. It only came out on Xbox, PC, and Switch at first. I don't know if it. Yeah, it looks like it still hasn't come out on PS4.
Okay. Well, now it's never going to come out on PS4 then, I guess.
Yeah.
That's like, I feel like every bit of phrasing they have dragged their feet so many times on the crossplay thing.
Remember when they said our console's we don't do crossplay because our console's the best one to do it on.
They've had like a billion different reasons about like safety and all this other stuff they've thrown up as a block. And then to finally go like, okay, Fortnite's too big, we can't afford to do it. And then, Rocket League being second through the door. But in both cases, it's like, this is a beta, we're taking it, this is very slow, blah, blah, blah. For there to be quotes out there being like, yeah, we're open for business. It's like, bull fucking shit. What? Like, maybe they are now. Like, what, yesterday? That's just doesn't track with what developers are saying, like, at all. Yeah, Sony. They're all. Yeah. Yep. We'll see.
Yeah. Next generation is going to be real interesting.
It is.
Meanwhile, Nintendo's just laughing off in Switch land.
Yeah, but if yes, but also if you start taking like the next 5 years, 10 years, all this other stuff, like this streaming shit, it stands to be incredibly disruptive to all the existing players in this space because, a lot of companies have built huge fucking cloud infrastructures that could go like, oh, by the way, we're doing this now too. And then you've got the EAs of the world and Ubisoft, who's also, like, oh, we're dabbling in this shit. Like, it's going to be a fucking mess. Yeah. But also it stands to be a bloodbath too.
Totally.
Everyone fucking laughed when Sony came in with the PlayStation. Everyone was like, the fuck does Sony know about video games?
People make CD players.
Yeah. And then they did pretty well for themselves. When Microsoft came in, it was even worse. People were like, fucking yeah, Microsoft's going to make fucking video. Yeah, sure. Flight simulator on a TV. That'll work. Mine fucking sweeper. And they've done okay for themselves. So I don't know, man. It's going to be an interesting year, I think.
Yep. Next year, even more so.
Yeah.
So speaking of Nintendo, there's a Direct tomorrow, which they announced like 3 hours ago. They say it'll be all about the Switch. They mentioned Fire Emblem Three Houses because, of course, there's a new Fire Emblem game.
Yeah.
But where this gets interesting is there have been rumors floating around for like the last week.
Oh, I love those.
Saying there would be a Nintendo Direct on February 13th.
Okay.
So they got that part right.
What else did they say?
They also said that... Also, actually, I need to confirm. Have they ever said that Metroid Prime Trilogy is coming out on Switch? Or has that just been a persistent rumor?
I believe that's
I want to make sure
So
they've never actually announced that.
Because they were more focused on 4, right?
I think that's right. I wasn't able to find anything where they have... It's been rumored for a while. I don't think they've ever... Anyway, these rumors said Nintendo Direct February 13th. There will be news about Metroid Prime Trilogy on Switch.
Mm-hmm.
They also said a Mario Maker 2 might get announced.
Yup.
They threw out some other stuff that they know to be happening that may or may not get talked about, such as ports of Pikmin 3 and Box Boy to the Switch.
Oh, I didn't see those.
They mentioned the Pokemon game.
Yes.
And a new 2D Zelda, which could be anything? I have no idea what that is.
Saw a couple other people tossing around the idea of Mother 3. Finally a port of Mother 3.
Yeah, I bet they were.
But like,
Did you legit see that? Or is that just like anytime there's any Nintendo rumor, someone somewhere is out there saying like, dude, Mother 3,
like the guy
is going to happen this time.
The specific poster who leaked everything I just said did not mention anything about Mother.
Yeah.
But of course, somebody is always talking about Mother 3.
Yeah. Somewhere
on the internet.
right now.
This is the only time I mentioned it is because I saw 3 different people say it as opposed to the one guy who always says it.
Not
Not that it's the same guy every time, but there's always one guy out there being like, "This is it.
This is the time."
Let me check. I want to
That
say...
Seiken Densetsu
If you say it
3
enough
are coming
times,
out
eventually,
together.
right. Yeah, fuck. God. Could you imagine? That'd be great.
It would be great.
Yeah.
Nintendo said this Direct would be roughly 35 minutes.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That sounds a little short to cram something like a new Mario Maker into, but...
Well, like
Stranger
think about
things have happened.
their their first Metroid announcement. It was just a logo.
Right.
Like, I feel like they could get away with
Yeah.
Yahoo!
Yeah, it
so.
could very easily be like set up for more 83.
Yeah, maybe they're just trying to get some names out there for games.
But also...
Or they just spend 30 minutes of it talking about the next Smash patch.
There you go. We've made another 10,000 changes.
Sakurai is going to read every patch note
Yeah.
in order.
While we whip him. Yeah, that would be, you think about the ongoing rumors about a new Switch. And you think like, oh, well, does that mean, is there potentially a Switch that doesn't hook up to a TV? Because then you guarantee you've always got a touch screen, which is the thing that makes Mario Maker tick.
Yeah, but you still got all those other Switches out there.
Yeah, but I think if you were selling more Switches that were guaranteed to be used handheld and stuff like that, you might feel a little bit better about forcing players to, hey, you can't make things on a TV.
Well,
you have to make things undocked.
Does Mario Maker 1 have non-touch editing controls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't want to do it.
Okay.
Anytime you're working with like more than a couple,
it's
a line of bricks.
I mean, yeah, they very well could just say like, hey, we put controller options in there.
Yeah.
If you want to play it on a TV, like we accounted for that.
Sure.
God, I hope they don't do the same stupid unlock stuff that they did with the last Mario Maker.
Yeah. I hope that they make another Mario Maker. But also, like, you have to think about, like, okay, if Metroid Prime 4 is, like, pushed off, starting over, like, they've got to look at, like, what's the stuff we can do that might not take a ton of time?
Yeah.
And a Metroid Prime trilogy, which did that come to Wii U?
Don't think so.
No,
Okay, it was
just
Wii.
Just Wii.
Okay. So that's work that could be done.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll ever see what was it? It was Odyssey, or no, I'm sorry, it's not Odyssey. Galaxy that came to Shield tablets
Nvidia
in
Shield,
China.
Yeah, that weird.
Like that also seems like stuff that if you were suddenly like facing a hole in your lineup that you needed to plug, you'd be like, well, a lot of the work that we would need to do to get this up and running is probably already done over here.
Sure.
Maybe we can just put that out on the Switch. Like that seems like the sort of stuff that you would start to maybe think about doing.
Have there been any Wii games ported to the Switch?
Bayonetta.
No, that's Wii U. That's what I'm saying.
Bayonetta 1 was Wii?
No,
And
it's
2 was
360.
Wii U?
Those are both Wii U
One
games.
was 360 and PS3.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Duh.
I can't think of a Wii game that has come to the Switch yet. Of course, like Mario Galaxy is probably the obvious one if you were going to do one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't either.
Anyway, yeah, they've got stuff. There's probably still some things on the Wii U that haven't been ported over. Also,
Mario 3D World seems like a decent candidate.
Pikmin 3.
Yeah, they mentioned Pikmin 3 in here.
Yeah, so they can kind of continue to mine that. Maybe that's a little more rapid than developing something from the ground up, presumably.
They've got a decent amount of stuff announced. I mean, obviously, Metroid is not a thing right now, but like Animal Crossing and the Yoshi game and Luigi's Mansion 3.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's
stuff.
There's
You're
like
right.
named
You're right.
Nintendo games already on the books. So I don't feel like they necessarily have to like flood the release calendar right now.
I guess like even though I really like Animal Crossing, none of those announced games right now sound like, hey, here's our big
Like
November
the marquee
thing. Here's our
holiday game.
our number one game for the holiday.
Sure.
Like, yeah.
Sure.
But the year is young.
Yeah. See what they got tomorrow. It's just kind of a little business housekeeping thing. Microsoft has renamed Microsoft Studios to Xbox Game Studios.
Yeah.
Which was like the third name change for that group.
Right. It was Microsoft
yeah.
Game Studios.
Yeah. And then it became Microsoft Studios.
Yeah.
Okay, second name change, I guess.
It's always fun because, you'd have Microsoft people that would refer to that as MGS.
Yeah. Yes.
And it was never,
Yep.
You were like, I was like, wait, what?
Yep.
Oh,
You can't
right.
do that.
Right.
Nobody gave you that, right?
Yeah. XGS.
Yeah.
That works.
Also, just hearing that name just makes me think of like Seamus Blackley and the first Psychonauts.
Yeah.
Like original MGS stuff.
Yeah.
Blinks.
I mean, it makes sense. Like they've been on this long road
Yeah.
to make Xbox about more than just the Xbox hardware, as we just finished talking about. So this just signifies that. I think that's the quote they gave. I think is actually
Yeah.
it's about more than just hardware. So yeah,
Yes. If you were to say launch a streaming app for the Switch, you might want it to say Xbox on it and not Microsoft,
sure.
for example.
Huh.
Just putting it out there. We don't tend to talk about Kickstarters on here much, but the new Bubsy game is being kickstarted for DLC. Like the game is more or less done.
What?
Or funded. They ran a
It's like
Kickstarter.
an all stretch goal campaign.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, like we will make DLC based on how much this
Like,
campaign.
oh, don't worry, we're already going to make good on the threat of hitting you with another Bubsy game.
But also, Choice Provisions is making it.
Yeah.
The BitTrip developer.
What?
Yeah,
And I believe they
I mean,
described
Charles
it.
Martinez going to be in it?
definitely.
Also, they
It's the
describe
new
it
voice
as
of Bubsy.
they describe it as an auto
It's a me, Bubsy. Yeah, it is. It is kind of in that BitTrip runner format, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it sounds like it.
Oh, got it.
I mostly
Bubsy Runner?
I just put the story in here because it repeatedly refers to Accolade, and like,
The test
Oh,
drive
man.
people.
does Accolade really still exist?
Yeah, I think they're largely just holding IPs or whatever.
Are they just an interplay,
Yeah,
at this point?
kind of.
some kind of shell corporation?
I think so.
Okay, that's a name that
I thought I heard a story.
you don't hear much about Accolade these days.
Yeah, and I want to say that there was some that like the previous Bubsy game was like a tax shelter or something.
I heard
Like,
that too.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sure. Jeff, do you want to talk about Geronimo Barrera leaving Rockstar?
I didn't actually read the story, but that's
Barrera. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
Yeah, he has been there a very long
Yeah,
time.
like 20 years?
There's a Variety story.
Yeah, Variety just ran a story that he has left Rockstar, and he is definitely one of the higher up, like creatives / production.
Yeah,
people
he was
Let go or leaving on his own volition?
They put it. They
certainly
put it as
sounds like
quit.
he's just leaving. I mean, they talked to him for this story.
Okay.
He basically just sounds like he is ready to move on and do something else.
Cool.
Bubs to be.
Like got Red, basically said, wanted to get Red Dead out the door.
Yeah.
But now that it's out.
He's going to get back to working on the games that matter, like Samurai Showdown for the 3DO.
Okay.
Yes.
I believe he was involved in that.
Okay, sure.
So
one of the better 3DO games.
yeah, it was a hell of a port.
it was
It
a
was a
great
great
port,
fucking port.
Yeah, I don't know how much you heard his name like out there in the press, like a little bit.
Yeah,
You definitely hear about the Hausers more than anything, and then obviously the Bens made news for a brief time.
yeah. I'm trying to think the name of the studio that he was. They had it was like him and another guy were making PS1 games in a office above a bar.
Huh.
Pre-Rockstar, all this other stuff. So he's like I said, he's been in this business for a very long time.
Yeah.
He's been with Rockstar for a very, very long time.
He was there for their whole ascent, basically.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, he was definitely one of those names you would always hear of, just like rolling around to Rockstar Studios, making sure stuff got done.
Yeah, I think he kind of became like a central figure that would go out to ensure things got finished.
Yeah. Yeah. Lastly,
I believe the Eye of Sauron thing that you would hear Rockstar employees said would sometimes be attached to his presence in a studio.
okay,
For whatever that's worth.
all right. Enough said.
I never saw that side, but that's what was out there.
Sure. Lastly, if you own Guitar Hero Live and you can prove that you bought it legitimately,
I can't prove that.
oh, well, you're out of luck then.
Oh, no.
You're not going to be able to get Activision to refund you the purchase price because they gutted that game.
What?
They shut down the online side of it, the
Yes.
live part of Guitar Hero
gotcha.
Live.
Yes, which I believe accounted for roughly 90% of the songs in the game.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah,
then-
because it was like yes. Yeah.
And then they got sued over it.
Cool.
And now they are electing to refund the game if you
It was like a certain purchase date, right? It wasn't.
by January of this year. So
Okay.
basically a month-ish, 5 weeks ago.
Damn it, I just bought it.
Oh, wait a minute.
yesterday.
If you bought it ever, and that's the cutoff?
Well,
or
this
if you
says
bought it
between-
after that date?
I don't know. When did it come out?
It's been a couple of years.
Okay, this says bought between December 1st, 2017 and January 1st, 2019. So did it come out?
Okay, maybe it's probably a 2017
Did it?
release.
No, it must have come out longer ago than that.
Yeah,
right?
you're right.
That feels like ages ago. Yeah, 2015.
Okay.
So, I'm not sure what's up with that cutoff.
Is that maybe when they signaled, hey, we're getting ready to shut the
Oh.
stuff down?
Maybe so. Yeah, anyway, another week, another service shutting down of some kind.
I imagine that's because they were selling boxes. They had hardware on the shelves that said, get on and play this stuff, that then was not in it anymore.
Yeah.
That was a neat idea. It was a weird thing.
Yes, that thing was bizarre.
They did a mobile version
Yeah,
of that.
they sold a
It was
guitar for your phone.
Yeah.
Like,
The
what?
idea
Oh,
that you're
yeah.
going to tether it to your phone.
Yeah.
You could be out in a park with an iPad.
Yeah.
No one's going to do that.
Totally
What are you talking about?
do that. Yeah.
Make a new DJ Hero.
Yeah.
Take all the people that you're thinking about laying off later today and instead put them on a new DJ Hero.
Yeah, so this story is also kind of a lead into what seems to be going on with Activision Blizzard in general,
Yeah.
which is that a bunch of layoffs are expected in the next few hours today.
Yeah, it's an
potentially.
hour from now is the earnings call.
Yeah, it sounds
Been
like.
some Kotaku reporting around that, and Jason Schreier's been on Twitter today talking about like, hey, the scene from parking lots at Activision and all this other stuff.
There's a Paul over Blizzard or whatever.
Yeah.
Is what he was saying. Yeah, I don't know. I hemmed and hawed a little bit about how much to talk about the stock stuff from last week because ain't none of us financial analysts.
Speak for yourself.
But like, I literally walked
It's
through.
bad.
I literally walked through our break room last week and looked up at they run a bunch of financial channels on the TVs in there all the time, and like just a giant headline, just like video game stocks in free fall, and it was just like Take-Two, Activision, EA, just like everybody
Like they
down.
mentioned Sony had gotten a hit,
Yeah, like everybody
as
down
well.
double digits,
Oh,
like
wow.
just everybody missing their earnings.
and Activision like especially
Yeah.
seemed to be tanking harder than the others.
Yeah. And then
Fucking Fortnite.
That would, again, you would see analysts going like, Fortnite's destroying the video game business.
and then now that
EA's got a Fortnite.
now that EA has a Fortnite, their stock rebounded.
Yeah.
But yeah, sounds like it's maybe going to be bad times at Activision later today. But
I
that's
mean,
stuff. That stuff did not come to pass yet, so we don't know for sure.
But separately from that stuff, and fuck, man, just sounds brutal. But what does Activision have?
Yeah,
they cut Destiny loose.
Yeah, we talked about this in the office some recently.
Yeah, and they've got Call of Duty, which they've been putting that on sale and doing trials and other things that like. You don't know for sure, but we'll know when the earnings hit, I guess. But like the signaling they've been doing around Call of Duty and their eagerness to put it back in front of people says that maybe, and my own personal experience of like games taking a little longer to fill up and some other stuff like that. Maybe I'm weighing that in there too much, but it doesn't feel like it's a lively fucking success.
Yeah,
which is a shame because I think it's the best game they've put out in years.
Yeah,
Diablo Immortal.
There you go. But yeah, the Blizzard side is not as bulletproof as you thought as it was.
Yeah, you've been hearing the rumors about tightening the belt over there.
They cut their hot sports stuff.
Yeah.
Like all that stuff. You add it all up with the stock price and all this other stuff. You're like, okay, well, they've got presumably a new Call of Duty this year.
Yeah.
From I guess Infinity Ward.
Yeah.
Would be their turn.
Yeah.
And
they've got the From Software game.
Yeah, the Sekiro, which is out real soon.
I think it's in March. They've got that. Don't they have that Crash Team Racing?
Yes.
Remake.
Yes, they've got that.
Like those remakes seem to be doing decent business.
On the Blizzard side, you've got the Diablo Immortal.
Yeah.
You've got the Diablo. The
Warcraft
3 reboot. You've got WoW Classic.
Yes.
But like Activision feels like a game company that ran out of games.
Yeah, totally.
And you hear stories like, oh, there was people there that were in charge of trying to like drum up new IP that then left and didn't do that, and like it's just I don't know what the fuck is going on over there.
That was like part of the reason I brought up that Michael Condrey story going to 2K last week, because like I thought he and Schofield were in the management to potentially help with that stuff. I don't know. I don't know what their roles actually were, but like when you've got like high profile creatives leaving the company and all this other doom and gloom at the same time, like it doesn't paint a rosy picture.
It's hard to know if that was like a big blow or not when those two got out.
Or maybe it was just a bellwether for what was already going on.
Sure.
But we've been saying for years and years and years since they had like Tony Hawk and Guitar Hero and then Call of Duty, like they had like the biggest franchises in video games.
And they ran them into the fucking ground.
Yeah, and you kept
they
saying,
always seem to find another thing.
Yes, they were very good at finding the next thing.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, doesn't seem to be another next thing.
It's just a shame that the brunt of the fallout is going to land on like the hardest working people in the company too. It's the workers at the bottom who.
The talk is that it's this is like third. The 3 times removed at this point, so who knows? Take it with a lot of grains of salt, but it's like publishing side stuff. I would expect hey, there are a lot of people that were internal at Activision that were focused on promoting Destiny.
Yeah.
Those people, I can't imagine those people's positions will continue to exist.
Yeah.
Maybe some of them transitioned into other open spots or something like that.
That's the thing, if Activision had like a healthy lineup outside of Destiny, then there would be other things for them to go work on.
So it seems like the people at the top that are supposed to be like finding like charting a course forward.
The people who are getting huge bonuses to find the next big thing and are not doing so.
Yeah. I don't know. The executive salary thing is a fucking weird thing, because on the other end of that, there's the reality of it is, if you want someone to stay at a company where things are not going well, you have to fucking pay them, or else they're going to go somewhere else and not solve your problems. But also in this case, it seems like no one solved their problems.
Yeah, they're keeping them there to do the thing that they haven't been doing for the last 5 years, 10 years.
It's
depends how far you want to go.
It's a bizarre situation. Whatever. They still have Candy Crush. Like they're not like destitute. It's not like that studio is going to fall apart.
Yeah.
But they're going to lose they are probably going to lose a large chunk of people.
Yeah, I saw that. People are saying hundreds, possibly, of employees gone.
Yeah, it sounds like King still does plenty of business.
Yeah.
Like Activision's not going away,
Right.
But the earnings are down for so long, like
they're going to be called mediagenic by the end of the day. Who knows, man?
Like the board starts agitating for change in the leadership, right?
Yeah.
If things are down for too long.
Think.
Who knows what will happen there?
Yeah, and I guess like out of this earnings call, we'll probably hear more about. I mean, God, they will have to if they've got new games in the pipeline. They kind of have to tip their hand a little bit, right? Because
like
otherwise, fuck, man.
Well, Bobby Kotick can always fall back on his acting career.
That's true. That's a good point. He'll. That's the most golden of parachutes. Let's face it.
The sweet residuals from Moneyball.
It's the Activision situation has been bizarre for I think a long time now,
Yeah.
and this is finally like those shoes dropping, and now we're going to see what happens next.
Yeah, like how long has it been?
Maybe we'll start to see
since Hirschberg left, like a year and a half or something like that.
Yeah,
they didn't fill that position, did they?
I don't think so. See, I think that's why I assumed those Sledgehammer guys maybe were taking over some of that stuff because they ascended after he left.
Sometimes people ascend for different reasons.
Yeah, I guess so.
Some positive, some negative.
Sure.
Like you don't know.
Yeah.
How that. Yeah, I don't know.
Somebody was supposed to be out there finding the next Call of Duty.
Right.
Oh, well, I guess Destiny was supposed to be it.
But they never owned it.
But they never owned it, so that
So
was never like
it was never going to be.
That was never a perfect replacement. So I don't know.
But like they kept turning more and more studios into Call of Duty support studios as that stuff started kind of they were like, oh, we need to throw more firepower on this thing. Clearly, we need more map packs. Like Raven turned into this, and like, at what point do you just go like, okay, enough? And what happens to like Vicarious?
Yeah.
Like they were like the last thing they did was that PC port of Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is there work for them? Like, what's there's Toys for Bob. That's still an Activision studio here.
Right.
Like Skylanders hasn't been going for a while, but were they? Do you know if were they touching the crash?
They may have.
That's separate.
That's separate?
Yeah, that's the Star Control stuff is owned by the Toys for Bob guys, but not through Activision.
Gotcha.
So it's like their night gig. The moonlighting is the creators of Star Control.
Beanox is listed as the lead developer on that Crash Team Racing remake.
All right.
But like they're going to run out of PS1 era.
They did Spyro. They did Crash.
Character actor platformers.
They can't go back to Spider-Man.
They can't remake games forever.
More Call of Duty
Pitfall.
remasters.
I don't know, man.
When in doubt, pull that Pitfall ripcord because there's just money coming out of Pitfall Harry's ass all day long. Quick Claw the Lion. We're going to reboot the cartoon.
The alligator's going to do his own spin-off.
Oh, shit. It's like a Three Stooges thing. It's the three alligators, but one's a Moe, one's a Larry, one's a Curly. It's going to be fucking huge.
They're going to get Mad TV guys to play all three of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, we will...
it's actually just one Mad TV guy doing three different voices.
Wasn't Fergie in the Three Stooges movie?
That sounds like something that totally would have happened. Like I cannot confirm nor deny the presence of Fergie.
Wasn't Phil Lamar on Mad TV?
Yes.
Yeah.
He can do as many voices as
He's
you
good,
want.
though. Yeah.
He can do all the voices that you need.
All right. Problem solved.
All right. Yeah. Likely to be a rough afternoon for Activision Blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
We will see what happens. All right. That's it for news. Let's take another quick break and then we'll come back and read emails. Emails. Bombcast at giantbomb.com. First email comes from Ian in Colorado. GameCubes are becoming yellow.
What?
No, they can't.
Screams the subject line.
Spice yellow.
You know how old NES and SNES consoles have a yellowish tint now because their plastic has deteriorated? I'm looking at my beloved childhood GameCube right now. Sorry, it took me a second to wrap my head around the idea of a childhood GameCube.
Yep.
Yeah, dude.
And I've noticed
It's got a handle.
that the same thing is happening to it.
What?
I have attached a photo. Notice how the plastic on the GameCube is now a different color from the Wavebird adapter. Does this mean that the GameCube is now officially old? Does this mean that I'm old?
Let me see the
Yes.
pic.
Both.
Yeah, there is a very clear
Because
difference.
I've seen a lot of GameCubes recently.
I mean, I would assume I assume he can verify that the Wavebird adapter and the GameCube were once the same color.
That doesn't look... I'm not buying it.
Side by side, that looks very yellowed to me.
Yeah, but to me, the GameCube...
Side by side, sure.
That was always gray and the Wavebird was white.
Wait, are you saying they were
What?
different colors to
Wavebird
begin
was
with?
never white.
It was never.
Whipper was white.
No,
it's silver. The controller's silver.
it's gray. It's gray.
Well, here
Different kind of gray.
he attached a stock photo where it looks like the Wavebird adapter and the front panel of the GameCube are the same color.
I don't buy it.
Which is what
it
he
is
is
not getting yellow in the same way that a SNES got yellow.
That plastic looks distinctly yellow to me. Maybe it's the lighting.
Either way, we're all getting old.
Your GameCube has jaundice. I'm sorry.
Yep.
You got to put it in this little
Solar light.
bath and
Yeah.
then put sunglasses on it.
Yeah. Keep it cool.
I had jaundice.
How'd it go?
They put sunglasses on me. And there's a picture of me looking like a really cool baby.
Nice.
Edgar from Omaha.
So
Who do people think is a more annoying kid, Atreus from God of War or Gotenks from Dragon Ball?
Go Tanks.
Go Tanks.
Go Tanks.
I only know that
Atreus
God of
has
War
like
kid.
an annoying arc that lasts for a few hours. Go Tanks is eternal.
Yes. Well, for 30 minutes at least.
Go Tanks is bad.
Okay. I don't know who Gotenks is, so I don't have an opinion.
I mean, does he hate his
It's the son
two
of
dads or
Goku.
what?
and
It's the
Vegeta.
fused
It's
form.
The fusion dance.
The fusion,
I
when they do the
right.
fusion dance.
that wasn't a
Different
request. That
Goten
was
and
not a
Trunks.
request to know who
Trunks
That's why
was
they
the
have
son
the
of
vest.
Vegeta and
They have the
Bulma.
vest because they did the dance, which was created by the ancient race, and the earrings was
I
just
just
a
wanted to
thing
know how
that's,
whiny he is. Is he
Guitar
whiny? Is he
earrings.
really whiny?
He names all of his attacks.
Well, I do that too.
You're right. He summons like ghosts that explode.
Yeah, kamikaze ghost attack.
What's the donut
Sounds
one?
great.
Big old donut buster.
I'd have to go back to my notes.
Never mind. Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin'
This
Donuts.
is all just in one ear and out the other.
Keep it that way.
Yep. Mark writes in, I was just thinking about Backbreaker, the 2010 American football game that utilized the Euphoria engine to
Sure.
simulate realistic tackles,
Yeah. Who isn't always? Yes. Who isn't thinking about Backbreaker?
and thought to myself, this game is named after a potentially life-changing injury for the sports participants.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
Pretty messed up. I was wondering if there are any games you can think of that have an even less appropriate name. P.S. NFL 2K5 is still the best football game ever made.
Death Race
Custer's
2000.
Revenge.
Oh man, Death Race 2000 is the most appropriate name. Yeah, Custer's Revenge.
Beat 'em and eat 'em.
Custer's Revenge is pretty bad.
Beat 'em and eat 'em is pretty straightforward. It pretty much.
But he's asking specifically about how disgusting the name is.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was going to say, but it depicts. It's pretty accurate.
Yeah. Oh, it's spot on.
Yeah.
Backbreaker is accurate too.
I guess so. Yeah.
but it's distasteful, which is what he's asking about.
I don't want to kink shame anybody.
I can't think. I don't know. Most titles are so focus tested to death, I'm sure.
You know
Yeah,
what?
Beat 'em and eat 'em
I do.
did really well.
I want to king shame people.
Okay, fine.
Now.
Go ahead.
It's gone too far.
Okay, caller, go ahead.
If you're kinking, then I'm stinking. That's my
All right.
motto
Okay.
from now on.
Yeah. Great.
I don't know. Stroker has always kind of weirded me out.
It's
The fact that there's a video game called that.
It's not that there's a video game called that. It's that of what the game is and how good it is and how good I got at it.
Fair enough.
I played some Stroker recently. I'm less good at it than I used to be.
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
Brian in Phoenix. With the recent release of Downwell on the Switch, I've fallen down a rabbit hole, so to speak,
It's a well.
of titles that support a vertical or Tate viewing angle.
Oh, boy.
I've even purchased the flip grip to
Yep.
make playing these games easier. Arcade Archives Donkey Kong, Downwell, and pinball games like Zaccaria Pinball, very awesome, by the way, have been given a breath of fresh air. My question is, do any of you play Switch games in vertical or Tate mode?
Hell no.
And if so, which titles?
None.
None?
Never.
Never.
Yeah.
Never have I.
I don't play the Switch undocked that much to begin with.
Yeah.
and,
I exclusively do, and I would never.
Well, he had a flip grip
yeah.
where you could bolt the controllers to the sides of it. I mean, if
I would
I was
flip it right into the garbage can.
Well, okay.
It seems like
if
there
I
are-
was playing those games on like Ikaruga,
Yeah,
if I was
Ikaruga is a
playing
good
those
one.
games on a Switch
Yeah.
undocked, then I would probably want a flip grip. But
Yeah.
I'm
yeah,
just not.
Ikaruga and the Namco collection seem like two that
Yeah.
would be
It's a
worth.
sin. It's against God.
People seem to like that thing quite a bit. I know
Yeah.
a number of people who have one.
I want to try it.
But I don't exactly want to carry like another thing
No,
around
yes,
for
yeah.
the Switch with me.
You guys start gripping, I'm going to start flipping.
All right, we're a team.
Why did they call it Tate mode? I think that's why I actually picked this email.
It's Japanese.
Oh,
Is it maybe Tate?
is it Tate
I have
mode?
no idea.
Man, just more questions arising
Yeah.
rather than answers.
Little man Tate
Yes,
loves to play shit on its side.
Little Man Tate mode.
Yeah. Summer Carnival.
All right, Scott writes in.
Scott.
Recently, I brought the 360 out of storage to check out a game that is not yet on the back compat list. The first thing I noticed was just how different the controller felt, despite everyone saying it was almost identical to the One controller at launch. The next thing I noticed was when I first powered the system up. It looks like they had done an update to make the interface very similar to the One, with a big exception: the dashboard is fast. I don't really have a question. I just wanted to mention how surprised I was at the speed and general snappiness of the 360 interface, even when it's bogged down with all kinds of ads and live tile-like things.
Go figure.
It's been asked a million times, will Microsoft ever figure out how to make the menus snappy on the One or the One X? At one point over the weekend, I was able to make a count to 1 Mississippi between the time I would press a direction and the One interface would respond. A reboot got that delayed to about half a second, but it's still very noticeable and much worse than when the One first launched.
It's really bad.
They're not
so
gonna,
bad.
They're not going to fix it.
so
They
bad.
are done and done X.
How is
with
it so
that
bad?
interface. Well, keep in mind that when that system was designed, it was also designed to run fucking television.
Yeah, I know.
And
but
fucking like weird split screen mode.
And you were
and
just
all this
supposed to
other horse
talk all
shit
your commands, and that way you won't have to worry about it.
that they probably had to allocate memory, like the decisions they probably made before that system launched
Yeah.
are in its way to this day.
Maybe. I guess that's entirely possible. But I just, man, like literally just cold boot that thing. And it just sits there at the title screen.
It's a bad time.
I've had it sit there for like 10 seconds as I hit the D-pad and nothing happened.
Yep.
And it would finally move the cursor
Yeah, and then it
around.
moves a bunch of times, and then you have to start all over again. Yeah,
Oh.
yes.
God. It's infuriating.
You can play Microsoft's first-party games on a personal computer.
Yeah. Yes. I am playing the Windows Store version of Astroneer and getting achievements
Nice.
on the PC.
I'm playing the Windows Store version of an unreleased video game.
Yeah.
You just type in the name of the game, hit return, it launches.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Well,
If your Windows Store is working.
you had that whatever.
Yeah.
Also,
Did you ever fix that?
I haven't tried in quite some time.
Oh, you know what I
Probably
had?
not.
The problem I had last week was I went to download Astroneer and the install button was just grayed out, and I could not figure out why. And then I finally scrolled down enough to see that I hadn't updated my version of Windows.
Oh,
Like I hadn't pulled build
Yeah, yeah.
1809 or whatever, so
Right.
it literally would not let me install a game because
get
Windows
you.
had not been updated.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Well, update Windows.
I did.
There you go.
Done.
There's got to be some kind of console command, some kind of reg edit thing that we can do to fix that Windows Store. That must exist.
There are
Oh, yeah,
there's a way.
lots of fixes
Yeah,
out
you
there
can find
that
all kinds of
don't
stuff.
necessarily
Yeah,
work.
there are
I've cleared
ways
my
to-
Windows Store
yeah, you
cache.
can flush
I've
the cache.
uninstalled
Yeah.
the Windows
Yes.
Store, reinstalled it.
You should need to format that hard drive.
I lost a big drive over the weekend. Oh, Jesus
You hate
Christ.
to see that.
Yep.
That's no good.
That was no good.
That is in fact bad.
Awesome.
Jason from
Important
Brooklyn.
stuff.
I'm sorry, did you say awesome porn stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the saddest. Luckily,
Hate to see that go.
we live in a world where you can get that. You can.
Not this stuff.
Okay.
this stuff.
Okay. Well, if you've got your stuff
One of
tailored,
a kind.
tailored again, I don't want to kink shame.
That's my job.
Okay, Jason from Brooklyn.
Hi.
Are we really going to have a whole console generation go by without anything from Ken Levine? Any word on what he's up to? I know he started a new studio, Ghost Story Games, but has any information come out about what that team is working on? He's
Stories.
absolutely one of my favorite game directors, and I find it strange that he's basically MIA in the PS4, Xbox One, and Switch era.
He was working on
Wasn't he?
not Blade Runner.
Logan's Run.
Logan's
wasn't it?
Run.
Was
Yeah.
he writing the screenplay for that or something?
Yeah. And I think he got attached to another movie as well, like an original IP thing.
Maybe
What
I
about the people that are still working at the studio?
Perhaps I should pull up his IMDb page.
Yes, please.
Yeah. The people that were working on whatever this like
Just because he's got
smaller
movies to write doesn't
team-
mean that they get,
Didn't
free time.
they bill that as a small
Yes.
experimental
Yeah,
like Skunkworks kind of thing?
sort of.
I feel like is how that got pitched when he started.
And then that's still 2K funded. Like that's still under their
I believe that's the case.
shingle.
Didn't that happen like not that long after BioShock Infinite?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
So it's been a while.
Yeah.
When did Infinite come out? 26,
Oh God,
9 years
no
ago.
way, man.
1,000. I don't know.
2013. March 2013. 6 years ago. Let's see what he is up to in the world of entertainment.
You don't say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like,
This has to be a different Ken Levine. Never mind. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I don't. I understand wanting to see what's next for him, but if he was just like, if he needs to take time, work on movies, doesn't have any like really grand visions for games, like it'd be weird to.
That was the thing that stuck with
He
me.
is at my beck and call. What are you talking about?
When he came in the run up to Infinite's release, and we sat down for an interview, like the thing that stuck with me to this day is like he puts it as this like when you decide to make another game, especially like a BioShock game, and the games at the size that he was making then, it's like it's that feeling of like I'm signing up for the next X number of years of my life to work on this. Am I ready to do that again? Do I want to do that all over again? Or do I want, and hearing him pitch it, I was like, yeah, no, I get why someone would be like, I have like, especially, he's got other, irons in the fire, some of his movie screenwriting stuff and other things that he can do.
That's extra interesting when you think about like the end of BioShock Infinite and like that whole last part.
Yeah, sure. That idea of just like, I don't know that I'm like, I can't say one way or the other if I'm ready to do another one of these.
Yeah.
And they're not doing another one of those, but there's something else presumably. Yeah. I wonder if that's still like a going concern, or if that kind of quietly, because it's like 2K is another company that seems like that they don't have as many announced games out there as.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're just getting into this period of like late generation where like studios are now like biding their time.
Yeah.
Like at the start of this generation, they kind of all got caught with their pants down, like not ready to ship games when the consoles took off.
Yeah.
Are they now like abandoning the consoles early in favor of the next set?
Like anything that matters is either already announced or on the new consoles at this point.
Which seems like weird because the install bases only get bigger for those consoles. So you'd think that you would want to have stuff out late generation just to, take advantage of the sheer number of people that experience it. But
and especially with like live services being such a thing that allows people to access your games at a rate and bandwidth that there wasn't before.
Right. Yeah.
I think I didn't pull it in the news because it was so like such a shoddy rumor, but there was that stuff about a new Arkham game coming from WB Montreal because Rocksteady is doing a next gen game, like going around a week or two ago. So like that's one major developer that is rumored to be going to new consoles.
At this point, why not?
Trying to think who else.
Like, have they been like just working away on something all this time, or did they work on something then kill it? Like, you wonder.
Yeah, trying to think who else would be spinning up new console games at this point.
That
Insomniac,
sure,
would be definitely on the next hardware.
Like a lot of these Microsoft studios.
Yeah, totally, absolutely.
Yeah.
New consoles will come out. There will be games for them.
Sure.
That's my prediction.
There you go. That's bold. I like it.
All right. This email comes in from Nick at Bandai Namco.
Okay.
Email
Hello, Nick.
This email is from 13 days ago, so he's talking about 2 Bombcasts ago at this point. I was listening to this week's Bombcast this morning on my way to work and was appalled at the lack of knowledge of CyberConnect 2's development history. CyberConnect 2 did not work on any of the past, quote, terrible adjective Dragon Ball games, as the Bombcast crew put it so eloquently.
Okay.
They did, in fact, develop
then who it was responsible for those terrible ass Dragon Ball games?
That subject is not addressed.
All right. Okay.
They did, in fact, develop the exceptional Naruto Ultimate Ninja and Ultimate Ninja Storm games for us. This is their first Dragon Ball title.
Public relations person calls game from studio exceptional.
So there you go.
Those are fun at face value.
Dibs.
Come on.
made the Budokai games.
Okay.
Right, because that was why, like, when it got out that Dimps was working on Street Fighter 4, there was kind of like, oh no. There was this weird feeling all of a sudden. I was just like, oh, geez.
Those Naruto games are...
They look really good.
I hear they're exceptional.
Now that I think about it, I only played the demos for all of them.
Yeah.
But,
Visually
Shikamaru's dope.
stunning.
I remember
the
like
characters
those
are cool,
the
but
look
that's
of
not
those
them.
games being very,
They've
very good.
really nailed the anime look. I don't know about the
I
feel.
hope
I've
so.
never felt anime.
They got pillows for that.
Yeah.
Just talked about God Eater for a minute. Just know you didn't feel anime.
Anyway, yeah. This is CyberConnect 2's first Dragon Ball game.
Okay.
After Asura's Wrath, I'll give them a chance on anything.
Which game are we talking
I
about?
feel like there was a good long time. This was for the
Dragon Ball Z RPG.
Z project.
Was it?
thing.
Yeah, Project Z, I
Project
think it's
Z.
called right now.
CyberConnect 2, I feel like their name was just affiliated with a lot of very middling,
Are you sure?
like PS2, 3 era games.
Maybe?
Like, right? I mean,
Or is it the case that it was stuff we didn't care about conceptually, but they were doing a good job with it?
I remember hearing, I like running reviews at the time. Like, I feel like I saw projects come through that were just like, Oh, that's right.
The
They
dot hack
were on the
games.
Final Fantasy VII remake until Square took it back from them.
Weird. Okay.
Uh,
I don't think they were the only developer, though, were
no,
they?
but so they did the dot hack games.
Okay.
Um,
People like those.
those.
Yeah.
Those
I like
them
them.
Naruto's.
Believe it.
They made that JoJo's game.
Oh, that JoJo's game.
Which one?
Both of them.
All Star Battle and
It's like 3 of them in the past 5 years.
Yeah. Okay.
You might say they are about that anime.
You
All
might.
about that,
You might.
I still look at my copy of Asura's Wrath once a month and think about playing it again.
You should.
Game's so good.
It's so good.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm missing that
so
in
right.
my backlog.
I never played that DLC that has the actual ending in it.
Oh, it's so good.
Man,
They ramp it up even more than you think they could.
I would have to go back. I'd have to go back and play through the whole game at this point just to
All right, let's do it.
get the feel of it.
Yeah.
But I already got all those achievements, and the achievement pops in that game are like used to
Yeah.
great effect.
Yeah, they really are.
Did it come out on PS3?
Yeah,
Maybe I should get the PS3 version just to see all those things.
that's the
pop.
version I have laying around.
Like literally, they timed the toasts of the achievements to shit in the game in a
Yeah.
really amazing way.
They do some more
that
stuff
game-
with that.
Oh, God, that game is something else. Let's see. I had an email and I lost it. Here it is. Vinny from Tokyo.
Base Ganondorf.
Dude stabs a planet. Is it
That
the
dude
moon?
shoots his sword
Is it
from the moon to Earth.
Oh, that's right. He's on the moon and then he stabs Earth with his sword.
Yeah, and then falls all the way from the moon to Earth while
Yeah.
still stabbing the guy.
And Asura is very mad about it.
And that's in the demo.
I remember that.
It's a good game. Vinny from Tokyo. Apart from the already discussed topic of Sony pulling out of E3, what can we expect this summer when it comes to some of the smaller conferences such as EA and Bethesda? Particularly Bethesda after the Fallout 76 fiasco, as Apex Legends has seemingly curbed EA's tanking stock, and it looks to be recovering after a rough few months. I would guess they're still going to do their non-ESA sanctioned LA events. Probably.
EA, I would assume so. Bethesda's, I think Bethesda's is.
Oh, is their
ESA
part of the?
sanctioned.
Okay.
I don't know for sure, but I think that's a.
I guess. Oh,
It-
I guess you're right.
Yeah, because they still show at the show. It's not like they're.
But in terms of that being a press conference slot,
I'm pretty sure that it's.
I guess so. Even though they're the night before everything else.
It's not necessarily.
Or no, did Microsoft move up to that date
It's
too?
not
I can't-
necessarily an important distinction.
I can't keep track of that
but
shit.
but they show at E3.
Yeah,
EA
yeah.
does not.
You're right.
Is maybe the meaningful one.
I mean, they get out there, they talk about Doom and Wolfenstein, because those aren't
Yeah.
those out?
I don't.
No, I think they're later,
Yeah,
right?
they're after.
You know, they have to talk about Fallout
Do they-
76.
Do they? What do they say?
Hey, we've got more
Sorry.
content coming.
Hey, we heard you about.
Yeah.
We're in this together.
Another bad joke
make a
about
half
bugs.
joke.
Like,
Yep.
but they already did that last year.
And they did it the year before and the year before.
Can they possibly?
Should they just have a copy of Fallout 76 taped underneath every seat in the place?
Oh God,
They
that's
want to
rude.
make them mad?
What's that smell?
They say
It's coming from under my chair.
They say we got
Andrew
new,
WK.
we got this new shit coming and you're all gonna love it. And we're putting the Fallout 3 characters in it. Huh? Anyone?
And it's free.
And it's free. And if you bought it, you get
500 atoms.
something that will ship to
two
you.
bags. 2 bags. Yeah, I think that they probably still do a show. They probably have enough games to do it, but
Yeah.
but like
They could
like
talk a little
like
more
it's-
seriously
I-
about
I-
Star.
Like it's hard to
it's
Or what's it called?
Yeah, I
Starlink
would
is
love to see them get out and talk about Starlink.
Uh,
Starfield.
It's hard to see any other companies pulling out because of Sony leaving, right? I mean, that just gives
No.
them more space to.
And it
more
doesn't make
exposure.
sense for Bethesda to pull out just because it has a bad game.
Yeah.
Also, but I
Ubisoft still has press conferences.
Oh, come on. Got him. Laser tag.
No,
coming back.
I'm thinking of like several years ago. Ubisoft.
Yeah. EA had some real stinkers.
Yeah.
Some real bad press conferences.
Mr. Caffeine, right?
That
Or
was
that
Ubisoft.
Ubi? Okay.
That was you.
He got his. I'm very interested to see like the next time Bethesda has to get out like in front of people, how they talk about Fallout 76.
Yeah.
What they say about it, in terms of like, hey, units sold or hours spent or, all that sort of stuff. Like, what do they try to spin like, hey, our daily active users are doing great. We're monetizing, do they have some kind of skew of the numbers that make it sound like it's going well?
Yeah.
Or do they just kind of come out and take it on the chin and be like, dude, it went bad. We had an idea and people didn't like the idea, but we still thought the idea would come out good, but it did not.
I feel like you can only come out and do that if you have some idea for where to take.
Right.
If you got a new
Right.
path forward for that game.
Yeah.
If that's your preamble to, and now we're going to do this. We're fixing it.
Shutting it down.
Like, they obviously don't mind poking a little fun of themselves with that Skyrim thing last year.
That was-
Yeah,
yeah,
but like
but
that,
that's-
that's
I know it's different,
it's a
but
different
it's like
scale.
yes, like they. I think you have to address it. I think you have to.
Yeah,
like,
but I think if they get out and try to do like some soft shoe routine past it, like no.
They don't seem like that kind of company to me.
no, they'll make a joke, and then like talk
But that's
about
what I'm
the
saying.
serious
I
stuff.
just don't. Yeah, like if they just made a joke and tried to move on and said like, and we're adding a new space, but it's like still just broken or whatever. Like, I don't think they could get away with it.
I could see because they always have somebody from the ESO team come out and say like, oh, we love our player base and here's a taste of what's to come, and there's just a sizzle reel of like, here's the next expansion and some new stuff we're adding. Like they could just go that route if they just want to get it out of the way. And
Maybe.
These are the
move on.
names
maybe.
and the faces of the people that worked on Fallout 76. These are the hearts that you were
These
breaking
are their home
by not playing
addresses.
this game.
Like they could just do the most perfunctory, just like here is a trailer of a bunch of new cosmetics.
You're right.
Like at the
You're
top
right.
of the show, just
Yeah.
get it out of the way. Forget it exists.
Do
I don't-
it in the pre-show.
I don't know. Yeah, totally. That's
and then they can talk about
That's probably-
Fallout Shelter and the lawsuit.
Right. Yeah.
probably the actual way to go if they just want to sweep it under the rug.
Gross.
I guess a lot of it has to do with what else they are there to talk about.
Yeah.
Because Rage 2 will be out by then.
Right. Yeah. So maybe like a Rage 2 DLC,
They'll have Doom.
Doom, Wolfenstein.
Oh, right. Right.
Yep.
There's
Yeah,
that
it's
whole weird Wolfenstein situation
Yeah.
where there's some kind of weird quasi-sequel coming out.
Yeah.
It's not...
Yeah.
BJ's daughters.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's very confusing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Wet 2.
Yeah.
Ooh, sticky. Wet 2 : sticky.
Sticky. Yeah.
Wilson from Perth, which is in Australia. Jeff and others who play idle games on the podcast, what is your game of choice now? I've been playing Idle Apocalypse, but getting to the stage of stagnation, so it's nice to be able to switch sometimes. All I see are ads for Idle Heroes, Tap Titans 2, and I've had some fun with Almost a Hero. What are your favorites? P.S. Merchant RPG is another style of idle game. Great loot crafting idle game on Steam and mobile that I want to give a shout out to.
Yeah. I still have Tap Titans 2 installed. I still have Egg Inc. installed.
Okay.
And I think Time Warpers on Steam is interesting.
Yeah.
They're making interesting updates to that thing for whatever that's worth.
New ways to not click.
Yeah.
Have you tried any of these other games he mentioned?
Yes, probably. Idle Heroes, I think I tried and
Are they all
did
the
not
same?
like. Yes.
Okay.
No, they're not. Some of them, I think the smarter ones find ways to create some kind of multiplayer or social element, which is both like a fascinating gameplay addition, but also it turns into this insidious, like, yeah, we're all in it together.
Yep.
Everybody make sure you tap it. Did you tap enough today?
Let's
Get in there and tap, otherwise you're letting all of us down.
Let's all not play this game together.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah. I could go for another idle game on my phone, but I haven't played any of those, so I guess I should just get one of those.
Egg Inc., I think, is very fair from a monetization perspective in a way that most of these games are not, and I think it's got charm.
Okay, I should check that out. Did you ever finish Space Plan?
Yeah.
Okay. I lost all my progress in that and never felt like starting over because I was really deep into it, but that game had like an actual story like that.
Yes, Space Plan was really cool.
That is the most like real ass video game that is a tapper that I have seen.
And the Paperclips one.
Yeah,
those
I
are
was
the
gonna
two.
mention that one is probably those two are the only ones I've ever put
Hmm.
decent amount of time to. And Cookie Clicker back in the day, but
Yeah.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'm trying to find one more email.
Brad, you may want to check Slack.
Oh?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
For some breaking news.
We're not going back to news, are we? All right, maybe that'll be it for emails. I'm waiting for Slack to load. This new logo takes forever.
Speaking of mobile games, I'm playing more Citus
Oh, you send me a video of someone playing Chaos Mode on an iPad.
on like the hardest song that I've seen in the game at least.
Yeah.
The guy got like an 800.
How many
combo.
fingers? Is that like a 2-finger kind of thing, or are you going
is-
full out?
He's
That
going
dude-
switching like
Is like
You're
just
playing like a piano. You're
yeah.
totally just all fingers on deck. But I'm playing with thumbs mostly.
Yeah.
And I can clear chaos songs with thumbs, but not like no million maxes on it.
Yeah, not a perfect song hitting every single note.
God, that guy
Ugh.
is
Yeah. We ran a quick look at that Tony Hawk iOS game. Not a great game.
not a great game. You know, it's a great game.
What's that?
Bloons TD5, baby.
Okay.
Still number one.
Still number one on iOS.
All these years later, TD6 sucks. TD Adventure Time sucks. TD5 for life.
I downloaded Brawl Stars and I
Is that oh god, it's got its hooks in me and is destroying
Yes,
my life?
It's slowly
Oh.
destroying my life.
Okay.
What is it?
It's made by Supercell Clash Royale folks.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's their new one.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that looked okay.
It's not that bad. They have a battle royale
Wait.
mode in it.
Wait, Supercell put out a new what?
Brawl Stars.
What's it
Yeah,
called?
Brawl
Brawl
Stars.
Stars.
I saw a headline this morning that their revenue is way down.
Oh.
Video games are
So I guess Brawl Stars
Turn
is
it
bad
Fortnite.
then. I always knew it was.
video games are collapsing. This is it. This is the second crash.
Yeah. That's right.
Wait, Crash is back?
Crash is back.
Ever since like what 84.
And now we're all back into computer games.
Been
Hey,
waiting.
Brad, it's more than games.
Oh wait, does that mean point and click adventures are coming back now? Well, no, sorry. Text parser adventure games.
Yeah. Definitely.
Finally.
Yep.
What'd you find in Slack?
Yeah, Jason Schreier is tweeting about this. Looks like this Activision Blizzard
Yeah, it
stuff
sounds like
has
it's
begun. The head of Blizzard is messaging that division has promised a quote comprehensive severance package to anyone losing their jobs.
Yeah.
That's good.
Uh,
As long as it's not a telltale
I
situation.
mean, this stuff is happening and also going to take a lot of time to absorb all the information. So I'm just going to read this tweet. Schreier tweeted, Activision Blizzard says that despite its quote record year, it's laying off 8% of staff.
Wow.
Last year, it had roughly 9,600 employees, which means that 800 people are losing their jobs.
It's a
So,
large number of people.
Despite our record year.
yeah. Well, but they also fell way, way short of their
expectations.
projections, which is seemingly all the financial world cares about.
As somebody
Yeah.
who's previously worked at a company that set goals very, very high and then did not hit and then suffered layoffs, like it sucks. You feel powerless, as an employee. It's the worst. So I hope anyone out there who's affected by this doesn't feel completely helpless. The one thing I'll say about anytime there's mass layoffs like this, and maybe it's because I'm not as active in other communities on Twitter, is like I always see a huge groundswell of support. Like, we're hiring. We're hiring over here. Like, I saw a
Epic's
post
got
by
jobs,
Epic.
Respawn's got jobs.
This industry seems to be
Pokemon
pretty
companies
good
got
about getting
jobs.
people
Like,
situated. So I hope they're able to land on their feet.
This Kotaku story says the company said it would be cutting mainly non-game development departments and bolstering its development staff for franchises like Call of Duty and Diablo.
So just doubling down on the game. Sure. That's a way. Yeah, you could do. Yeah, sure. Why not?
I mean, if they don't got anything new, what else are they going to do?
We're going to double down on Call of Duty. Like, how many times do you think they've said that?
Yeah.
That's why the number keeps going
We're pivoting to video.
Sources told Kotaku that the layoffs have affected Activision, Blizzard, King, and some of Activision studios,
really?
including High Moon. Yeah. So that seems like kind of the information that's out there so far.
Do you think that the kind of this sort of stuff, like the belt tightening that's been going on over there, and this stuff maybe has been looming? And I guess we have no way of knowing, so I don't even know why I'm asking you. But do you think that this maybe weighed at all on Mike Morhaime getting out?
I don't know.
Ahead
maybe.
of this stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
Like before the axe starts to fall. Like, all right, I had a good run.
Yeah, maybe.
See you later.
Yeah, they've always seemed to really pride themselves on like maintaining a culture or keeping themselves separate from their parent companies.
But it sounds like that wall has been eroded over the years, and if today's stuff seems like
if the rest of the company is doing poorly and the money people come in and start throwing their weight around, there's only so much you can do, right?
Totally.
So yeah, maybe he had enough. If that was what was happening,
don't know.
Yeah, like I said, the stuff is just now coming out, so we will see how it shapes up and talk about it more next week. But condolences to everyone affected.
800 is a lot of
it's a
fucking
lot.
people.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Damn it, I'm trying to. It's too much. Sorry. Finding the numbers that I'm trying to find and all these tweets flying around. This is too hard to discuss as it is all happening, and there's a bunch of information flying to and fro.
Yeah, because they also announced some of their financial. Like they had their earnings call also.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I just don't want people to sit around waiting for me to try to parse tweets and find meaningful info, because it's all coming fast and furious. Anyway, we will watch this and see how it develops and re-adjourn on the topic next week. But yeah, that's pretty severe. Yeah. Well, on that unfortunate note,
back to emails, or are we done?
Let's call it
Okay.
there.
Okay.
She's gonna let it just go out on a downer like this.
Yeah,
huh?
sorry.
What's downer, but
we got one more email.
You know, like that's this industry. It sucks, but like
That's this industry. It sucks.
It's. I mean, it's a lot of like the climate.
I mean, it has been.
You see it. You see it in other industries too. But like at the end of the day, what are people going to do?
The film industry uses unions to kind of help with this sort of thing, and treats these projects very differently, where people kind of come on and come off, and all that sort of stuff. And
it's definitely worth. That's something I need to read specifically in unions and video games. I don't know much about, but there's organizations out there making progress. Support people in the ways you can. Don't harass developers online. Be a cool consumer. I mean, like, there's not much consumers can do other than be cool.
I saw responses to an Apex Legends tweet last night complaining that they hadn't updated the game yet.
Yeah.
I don't mean patch. I mean like new content.
Right.
They're like, you got to put more stuff in this game or it's gonna die. It's like, dude, it's been a week.
It's been a week.
This is the closest I have to a fun email. Most of what remains is serious business. And nobody wants that. Michael from Overland Park, Kansas. Also, I don't know what to make of the fact that he asked us this question and not the New York office.
We're the experts.
What the hell is Altered Beast? I've never seen Altered Beast played until the latest This Is the Run, and I'm a little confused. This looks like a poorly controlling beat-em-up where the levels last about 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like the entire game is based around your character yelling, "Power up!"
Yep.
and transforming.
Uh-huh.
but the levels are too short to make proper use of this novelty.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is there any more to Altered Beast?
You literally answered your own
Is
question.
there some crazy end game that is more interesting than the earlier levels?
Oh, yeah.
Is the arcade version better or any different than this? If the answer to all of these is no, then how was this game received at the time?
It was the pack-in with the Genesis. It was the game you got when you bought a Genesis, and so it was fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like 5 levels, and you're in and out.
Yeah.
And
And I think the arcade game is basically the same thing.
yeah,
There's really not much more to it.
different audio.
Yeah.
a little bit. but
it was a better looking game
yeah.
in the arcade.
There's a cheat code you can use to set which animal you turn into on every level.
Right. Yep.
On that Genesis
So
version.
that's why you
So
just set yourself to the dragon always.
Always
So
dragon.
you just
and-
run up to the bosses and hit the
Yep.
hit the little field ability over and over until they die.
If you miss the wolves that have the orbs, then you have to do like a whole nother cycle because you're not the
it's the
monster.
worst.
But if you don't, you get 3 full cycles of the level to turn into the beast. And if you don't get there by then, you fight the boss and you're not a beast. And then you're like triple fucking fucked.
Yep.
Triple F and F'd.
Yeah.
I liked Altered Beast at the time.
It's not a.
It was coveted because that was the first like voice sample that I really heard.
Mm,
I mean, besides like Berserk stuff. That's why I wanted the Genesis was Rise from Your Grave.
That's what Jenna was.
Yeah.
It's not objectively an amazing game, but
No.
it has its place in history,
Yeah.
I suppose. All
and
right.
then they did that PS2 game. It like came out in Japan.
Oh, that's right.
It's not good.
Hmm.
It's like Project Altered Beast, I think it's called. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's it for emails. Podcast is over.
All right.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Thanks for
After
having
show
me.
After show.
happening.
Happening.
What can we expect?
Expect the unexpected, man.
Oh.
You never know what those goofballs are going to get up to. The wacky hijinks you'll find on the giant Bombcast Aftermath.
You should head down there and tell those guys it's time for the after show, and they need to get in here and do it.
Yeah.
I heard
All right.
one of them has to eat a sandwich really quick.
Oh man.
I heard one of them wishes that he had food to eat, but doesn't. So he's going to drink water instead.
That works. Something in your stomach.
Mhm.
All right. This has been the Giant Bombcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Hey, this is Colt Cabana. I've been wrestling on the independent wrestling scene for the past 20 years. From the gathering of the Juggalos to the border towns in Mexico. My podcast is The Art of Wrestling, and each week I document my adventures.
We're in Wingchow, which is about an hour outside of Shanghai by flight.
So it's Sumo Hall. The whole bottom is like where they watch sumo wrestling. The ring is in the middle, so there's chairs there, and then there's a whole top tier too, right? Yeah.
I'm coming up on 18 years of independent professional wrestling and nothing but. And to see it get to this level, I've gotten goosebumps like 3 times during this show.
As a guy who had a snake his whole career, do you feel akin to like the animals here and stuff?
Just the freak show part of it.
There you go.
Yeah.
We're on a boat in the middle of nowhere, and this thing came flapping in, and it was like in slow motion.
It just crashed. It crashed into the front row. Hear a new documentary every week about the weird world of pro wrestling, The Art of Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts or ColtCabana.com.